welcome home.
CBS Sports, home of the 1998 Olympic Winter Games.
The very first NASCAR race was held on these white sands of Daytona Beach exactly 50 years ago today. Over the years, some of the sport's greatest drivers raced along these slippery shores. Today, those races are just a memory, but the spirit of a race car driver never fades, not for men like Russ Truelove, Buck Baker, Tim Flock, Red Farmer, or Junior Johnson. Buck Baker was the first to win back-to-back Winston Cup championships. Some consider Junior Johnson the greatest driver in history. And two-time Cup champion Tim Flock won 4 times on the beaches of Daytona. It may only have been sand, but those races laid the foundation for stock cars' greatest showcase, the Daytona 500. This super speedway has been the launching pad for NASCAR's most electrifying performers.
Here they come. Waltrip tried a slingshot. Petty is out in front at the line. Waltrip, Petty wins it. And there's a fight between Cale Yarborough and Donnie Allison. The tempers overflowing. They're angry. They know they have lost. Down they come for the finish. Here comes Baker on the outside. Bill Elliott. 3 cars side by side fighting at the line. Cale Yarborough does it. Fantastic strategy. Cale Yarborough, Ken Squire, can you hear me?
Thank you very much, CBS.
Bobby Allison high. Davey Allison trying the inside move. Bobby Allison holds him off. They come to the stripe. And the winner of the 30th annual Great American Race, Bobby Allison. Davey Allison, his son, in second. Judy Allison ecstatic. What a tremendous family performance.
Oh, I won the Daytona 500. I won the Daytona 500.
Darrell, how long?
Wait. This is the Daytona 500, isn't it?
You bet.
Don't tell me it isn't. Thank God.
Since the Dale and Dale show has become off of turn 4, you know who I'm pulling for. It's Dale Jarrett. Bring her to the inside, Dale. Don't let him get down there. He's going to make it. Dale Jarrett's going to win the Daytona 500. All right. Oh, look at Martha. Oh, dear. Oh, can you believe it? Way to go.
Hey.
Man.
Who will we add to this list today? Will it be the defending champion, Jeff Gordon? Perhaps one of the Labonte brothers who start the day on the front row? Or will it be the man who's had his eye on the checkered flag through 20 years of frustration, Dale Earnhardt? But no matter what happens today, we owe it all to the men who raced on the beach. Legendary racers who will always have racing in their heart. The moment every race fan awaits. 50 years to the day when NASCAR first made Daytona the world center of speed. The homecoming is about to happen. The only ticket tougher to obtain or is for a seat in one of those 43 cars now resting on pit road. Good day, everyone, and Ken Squire with you. Welcome to the 40th annual $7 million Daytona 500. And what is it, you may ask, that makes this race so special, this day so very special? For some, It's the final act of an annual ritual, a mysterious mixture of speed and color. It's the fascination of watching 43 men commit themselves to the trial, to the danger of near 200-mile-an-hour speed, inches apart. Gene Shepard once said, if horse racing is the sport of kings, then auto racing, this furious and sometimes brutal game, is the sport of friends. New or old, come along, friend, and enjoy the great American race. And it starts with Dick Berggren of Stock Car Racing Magazine on pit road.
Thanks, Ken. Starting on the outside of the front row, two-time national driving champion, Texas Terry Labonte. He has finished second 3 times in the Great American Race. He has never won it. How about today?
Well, I don't know. Our Kellogg Chevy was pretty good in practice, but, you know, the competition is pretty tough, and it's a long race, so we're just going to do our best and see what we can do.
Starting on the pole position in the fastest car in the field, his brother, Bobby Labonte. Weather is an issue today. Rain is in the forecast. This could be a rain-shortened event. Bobby, how would that affect your strategy?
Well, I want to be up front if it does start raining. I know that, but you know, right now we're just going to race the racetrack. It's a long race. If it doesn't rain, and try to keep this Interstate Battery Pontiac running really good for a good day.
Good luck to you. To Ken Squire.
We're down to it. This is the moment. They're ready to fire them up and begin the Daytona 500. Let's go trackside for the command that gets it all underway.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you, the great fans of NASCAR, now join with Governor Bill Graves in issuing the most famous words in motorsports?
Gentlemen, start your engines.
We're ready to go. The 4 words that mean so much, that send those shivers up your spine, have been given, and we'll be back for the start of the 500 momentarily.
In celebration of NASCAR's 50th anniversary, CBS Sports coverage of the Daytona 500 is sponsored by Mobil 1 100% synthetic motor oil. Nothing outperforms Mobil 1. Pepsi, who invites you to join Generation Next. And by Ford, makers of vehicles that are built to last.
From 475 degrees above zero to 35 degrees below, nothing outperforms Mobil 1. Mobil 1 0W30. Superior protection when you start your car.
Gordon is way behind. Stick a fork in Jeff. He's done. Oh, my. What is he thinking? Holy baloo. What the heck is that?
Ooh, that's gotta hurt.
Well, what could possess a man to drive like that?
Gotcha.
He's making his move backward. Gordon wins.
We gotta get him a cup holder. That's it. Generation Next.
All my life, my parents have been there. Through the long drives, the cold rinks, and now that I've won, I wish they could be here to see me. But I know that can't be possible. Because it's lunch.
And now at McDonald's, get 2 Big Macs for just $2. Or get 2 Morning Fresh Sausage McMuffins with egg for just $2.
Oh, hi, honey, how'd it go? Oh, no, don't tell me. I taped it.
Did somebody say McDonald's? Proud to feed the world's Olympic athletes.
In our quest for the finest brakes in the world, we tested our pads against other leading brands. With pad after pad, in test after test, the results were always the same. No other brand stopped shorter than Performance Friction Carbon Metallic, the ones we stock at AutoZone.
The largest crowd in Daytona history, held in suspense, awaiting the green flag from Dan Marino today. There's the man they're all talking about as they did a year ago, Jeff Gordon, defending champion of the Daytona 500. Let's go topside right now for the folks who'll make the call on this 40th annual Great American Race. Mike Joy standing by with Ned Jarrett and Buddy Baker.
Thank you, Ken. NASCAR, of all major professional sports, is the only one to start their season with their biggest and most prestigious event, the Daytona 500. Teams have had all winter to prepare. But Ned Jarrett, there's been a lot of preparation and a lot of speculation of what will happen today.
A lot of questions to be answered, Mike. The new Ford Taurus, first time it's been on the track with 43 cars out there. It's untested for 500 miles. And the GM teams have the new engine combination. It's untested for 500 miles. You have some drivers with new teams and some drivers with new teammates. How will all that play out? Then there are 6 drivers in the field who are making their first ever Daytona 500 start. That's just some of the questions that will be answered here today.
Well, now, when Buddy Baker won this race in 1980, if you had the fastest car, and you did, you put your foot down, and you did, and you passed everybody to win the race. Today, it's a different game out there.
Well, it is. The cars have to stay in good track position. One thing they have to do is stay with other cars to draft. A few years back, when you didn't have the restrictor plate to pull the horsepower out of the engine, you could run a pack down. You could actually fall back and pull back up into the pack. You can't do that anymore. So pit stops, teamwork, and great drivers will win the race today, not just a heavy foot.
56 teams came to Daytona. 43 will start the Great American Race. Here's the starting lineup. For the first time ever, brothers are on the front row, the Labanis, Bobby and Terry. In row 2, Sterling Marlin, 2-time winner, and Dale Earnhardt, his 20th try to win this race. Dale Earnhardt, a 2-time winner, and Mike Waltrip, second in their qualifying race. Jimmy Spencer, winner of the Bud pre-shootout, and Mike Skinner, last year's pole sitter. Ward Burton, 8th last year, and Ernie Irvin, the 1991 winner. Derek Cope, who was in victory lane in 1990, and Rusty Wallace, his 16th try to win the big race. Jeremy Mayfield, 6th last year, and Jeff Burton, 5th 2 years ago. Mark Martin, his best finish is 3rd in 95, and Lake Speed, 2nd in 1985. John Andretti won the 400-miler here last July. Andy Hillenburg, 2-time ARCA champ. Bill Elliott, a 2-time winner of the 500, next to rookie from Vermont, Kevin LePage. Chad Little, his 7th 500, and Bobby Hamilton, new into a car that has won here 3 times. Mike Wallace hopped in Phil Bartol's car early in the week. Greg Sachs, last 8 years, 8 different teams he's driven for. Jeff Bodine, the 86 winner, next to Connecticut rookie Jerry Nadeau. Rick Mass finished 4th in 1991, and Joe Nemechek won yesterday in the 300-miler. Jeff Gordon, defending champion of the 500, and Robert Presley makes his 5th start. Ken Schrader, a hard crash Thursday, but he's ready to go for that $1 million bonus, and Ricky Craven, 3rd a year ago. Long Island rookie Steve Park driving for Earnhardt, and ageless Dick Trickle. Dave Marcus, his 31st straight 500, and rookie Billy Standridge. Ted Musgrave finished 4th here in 95, and rookie Kenny Irwin Jr. Kyle Petty, 3rd-generation driver, and Ricky Rudd, 3rd in 81. Steve Grissom, last year the front row, this year the back row for he and provisional starters Brett Bodine, and the champions provisional to the 1989 winner, Darrell Waltrip.
There are 43 cars in the field here today, racing for 500 miles, 200 laps on this 2.5-mile track. Fuel window 45 to 50 laps, racing for more than $7 million, and the race record was set by our own Buddy Baker back in 1980. Let's take a look at this Daytona International Speedway. Here's the start-finish line, 18 degrees of banking here, 31 degrees of banking in the turns. What does 31 degrees of banking look like? We'll bring our graphic up here, our car. That's what it looks like, but to the drivers, when they go into the turns at 200 miles an hour, it looks almost flat.
In today's race, you will have 18 new Ford Tauruses. You will have 3 Ford Thunderbirds, 16 Chevrolets, and 6 Pontiacs.
Drivers who failed to qualify for this race, listed in alphabetical order. Kenny Wallace lost that final shot on the last lap of his qualifying race. Robert Presley held him off. Today, you're going to ride along with the man who seeks to win his first 500 after 20 starts. It's not just that Dale Earnhardt hasn't won this race. It's how close he's come, how many times. He'll start 4th today. Mark Martin led the most laps here in last year's race. He is still looking for his first win in the 500. Jeff Bodine, 1 win, a total of 7 top 10 finishes in this race. Rick Mast makes his 8th Daytona 500 start. Jeff Gordon, last year the 7th driver to win the Daytona 500 and the Winston Cup Championship in the same season. Ricky Craven started last year's race in the last row and finished 3rd. Kenny Irwin Jr. is one of 6 drivers running their first Daytona 500 today. Dale Jarrett is one of only 6 drivers to have won this race more than once. He'll start 5th. From Roush Racing, Jeff Burton won 3 Winston Cup races last year. His 5th Daytona 500 start is today. And John Andretti hops into the throne of the king, Richard Petty's Pontiac. He'll start 17th. He won the Winston Cup 400 here last July 4th.
And Mike, we're about ready to get this Daytona 500 underway.
Dan Marino, not just an observer and the flag waver, he's the co-owner of car number 13, driven by Jerry Nadeau. Pretty quiet out there as the lights are out on the Pontiac safety car.
Those butterflies are churning in the stomachs of those drivers, but they're about to leave them here right now.
And to start the 50th anniversary season of NASCAR, the 40th Daytona 500 is underway. Head off with a lead, but Jeff Gordon got a slow start. He was down on the apron when they dropped the green flag. Gordon comes up to speed. This 43 cars uncoil down the back straightaway. Turn 4, a new look at this race.
Boy, that's exciting to see that. I've never been that high, but I felt like I have when I got in the wall here a few times. But look at these cars, already 3 wide down through the tri-oval here. The Labonte brothers are working together. Sterling Marlin in 3rd spot there. They go right to the bottom of the racetrack in the early part of the race, but you have a few of them trying the top side already.
For the first time ever, Bobby Labonte leads the Daytona 500. Only 4 races last year were won from the pole. That's Labonte's green Pontiac.
Tremendous amount of debris on the back straightaway there. That's wrappers, sandwiches, and various things of paper. But these cars have various holes in the front to get air into the cooling of these cars. That could be a problem later.
It could be. It doesn't take much to stop up that grill so they don't get the air they need.
The roof cams are back at CBS and in NASCAR racing. NASCAR legislated them away. We brought them back here at Daytona with NASCAR's approval. You're right on top of the windshield of Jeff Bodine's car.
If you want to know what it looks like to the driver, this is as close as you can get. You go down in the corner, this is what we call the high groove. Up against the wall there, a lot of drivers feel it's safer on the high side. If something happens to the car, you don't get the big run towards the outside wall.
And as you notice, as they went through that turn, it didn't look like it was 31 degrees of banking.
Rick Mast, or rather that's Jeff Bodine, a piece of debris up on the camera. And now Rick Mast right behind Jeff Bodine. Dave Marcus down low, starting his 31st 500 and 3 abreast. That's Mike Wallace is the meat in that sandwich as they come off the corner.
And boy, this is not a good area of the track to be running 3 abreast. I'm not sure there is a good area of the track to run 3 abreast.
Good point.
Everyone makes it through okay. The front 7 cars have broken out single file. From that back straightaway, tilting sharply into that 31-degree banking of turn 3. And there's those 7 cars out front, single file. Bobby Labonte, the engineer, Darrell Waltrip driving the caboose. Ralph Shaheen.
Mike, there was actually no problem with Jeff Gordon. In fact, crew chief Ray Evernham is proud of his driver. Apparently somebody in front of Jeff slowed down, and Jeff ducked to the bottom to avoid him. He really saved the front end of the race car.
Good news for the defending champion of the 500. Now, Bill Elliott. Well, he's the burger, and the bun on the low side is Bobby Hamilton, and on the outside, number 2 is Rusty Wallace.
And there's not a thing in the world they can do about it, Mike. You don't want to be in that position, but what can you do about it? There's nowhere to go.
Here comes Mark Martin in the 6th car there. That's the blue and white car, and you can see on the bottom side, Bill needs to get in line right now. If he don't, he's just going to go to the back. He has some help. One looked over, decided not to go with him, so you can watch him just fade back as they go by.
You're riding with Mark Martin. That white dotted line denotes the edge between the banking and the flat apron of the racetrack. Don't go left of that line.
Not unless you want to end up after you get to the wall and back down there again. That's where you'll finally end up.
Bill Elliott cannot find a lane. He is in the middle by himself, and that's no man's land because the groups just stream right past on either side. Now he's going to get some help from Dick Trickle, number 90, and he gets to the low groove.
And back here, Chad Little for a moment was also in that same position, but thank goodness Elliott got himself in a line.
Bobby and Terry Labonte and Sterling Marlin, qualifying race winner on Thursday, with the 2 drivers that time trialed onto the front row. And look at that orange car on the top groove, Michael Waltrip coming.
And keep your eye just below him at Dale Earnhardt. He's moving up right now. You see the 2 of them side by side. Earnhardt gets the spot, moves in front of Michael Waltrip as they head down the back straightaway.
Now, back of the 4th place car, Earnhardt, looking at Michael Waltrip, who drives for the Wood brothers. Proud of that 76 victory with David Pearson and 72 with A.J. Foyt, perhaps poised to win it again.
You see Waltrip looking to the outside in the 125-mile qualifying races this week. He was very strong on the high side of the racetrack. That's Dale Jarrett just under him there, moving towards the front.
Dale Jarrett pulls up alongside in the low groove, and Dale Jarrett has 8 cars lined up directly behind him.
He has been running the low groove since the green flag dropped. Sometimes the high groove, they get a run off of there, can be better, but right now seems to be working pretty good for him.
And that 7-car single file line is now just 5 as they jostle behind the black car of Dale Earnhardt. Ernie Irvin down to the inside in that rainbow-colored number 36. One of the fastest cars in practice all week has been Irvin.
Yeah, he's very, very confident. I had dinner with him last night, and he just said, hey, I've got as good a car as I've ever had here.
Dick Bergeron.
Roger Penske is the captain of American industry. He could be in one of the finer suites here at Daytona. Instead, he is on top of the highest grandstand in the place, spotting for his driver, Rusty Wallace. Rusty just called up and said, Roger, where would you like me to run? High or low? He said, you're doing a good job. Just hang in there.
Now look at Rusty and his teammate right there, Jeremy Mayfield. The 2 and the 12 cars similarly painted. They are teammates. Ned, they look like they've got a trailer hitch between them.
I'm sure that was planned, Mike. We saw a lot of cars drafting in practice out there yesterday together to see which ones worked good together, and Jeremy Mayfield was very, very good in that 12 car, so he's right there with his partner now.
Ernie Irvin's still on the inside there. Outside of him, last year's pole setter, Mike Skinner. When they're running side by side and the Labonte boys are all single file like they are right now, the draft works so much better with cars in line than cars that are racing back in the pack like this spot. That you'll lose almost 2-3 tenths per lap to the lead cars when they're running single file.
42 cars still in the lead draft. The only one that's out of the draft right now is Darrell Waltrip.
Second place, Sterling Marlin on the inside. That blue and silver number 40.
Look who's coming with him. Here comes Earnhardt taking over the spot.
Dale Earnhardt has led every single lap number of the Daytona 500 except for 4 laps. One of them being, of course, lap 200, the final one. Now it's Jeff Bodine, the man in the middle. Ken Schrader in that black number 33 moves up just in front of Bodine's number 7. And way down on the bottom is Kyle Petty in 44. Ned, I'm a little surprised that those 5 cars running single file up front have not been able to get away from the 2-wide racing.
That is surprising. Most of the time when cars single out, they're able to run faster than cars running side by side. But look here, 4 abreast down the backstretch.
Jeff Gordon all the way on the flat part of the racetrack. The lines that you see there on the inside, that's not racetrack.
It was for a moment. They'll come around to complete lap 11. Ken Squire.
Watch number 33, Schrader. Fractured his sternum on Thursday. Has a special flak jacket he's wearing today. Started 43rd. Now he's going up into the top 20. He is flying in that Andre Petrie prepared car. Many said that was the car to watch to win it. But with an injured driver, how could it possibly do that? Morgan Shepherd is standing by to step in should Schrader not be able to go the distance. He was asked the other day, how far would he run? He said, oh, probably the first 200 laps.
That's how long this race is. Ken Schrader is wearing a flak jacket like rodeo cowboys wear. A bull rider's flak jacket. Ken Schrader's a bull rider if there ever was one.
He's a tough customer, no doubt.
Now he is last in that line on the inside of the racetrack up to 19th position after starting 43rd because he crashed his primary car on Thursday, had to run a backup car in the 500.
Mike, you wonder how hard Schrader hit the wall on Thursday. This is the steering wheel he was hanging on to. Look at how this thing is bent. It's all supposed to be straight, not even close to straight. Man, he's a tough guy to be out there racing right now.
Schrader won, steering wheel nothing.
Ned, you and I have probably bent him some, but I don't think I ever bent one that bad.
No, that was, as Dick says, he's a tough customer to be out there now, but very determined because he could win an extra $1 million if he wins this race today.
He is third in that inside line. 13 laps complete. Bobby Labonte leads Sterling Marlin and Dale Earnhardt. Here's Ralph Shaheen.
Mike, Kenny Schrader is racing with a heavy heart today as well. A young man by the name of Stephen Bradley recently passed away due to cystic fibrosis, one of Kenny's personal charities. On his bed, he said to Kenny, Kenny, please win the Daytona 500 for me. It's the only thing I've ever asked from you. And that is what he is trying to do here today. His daughter Dorothy told him, Daddy, Stephen is racing across heaven cheering you on today.
Likely so. To do it, though, Schrader will have to get past Bobby Labonte, Sterling Marlin, Dale Earnhardt. Dale Jarrett in 4th, Derek Cope, the 1990 winner, in 5th. Terry Labonte now back to the 6th spot. Skinner, last year's pole sitter, is 7th. Michael Waltrip, 8th. Jimmy Spencer, Ernie Irvin. That's the top 10.
And right out of the top 10 is Jeff Gordon, who has come all the way from 29th up to 11th.
Side by side for the lead in the back straightaway.
Sterling Marlin's going to be a force. I predicted he was going to be the guy to watch today, and he's leading the race already. Earnhardt just in tow, just behind Bobby Labonte. They're trying to get up on the outside as you see them fighting side by side in the corner.
On the bottom, Derek Cope, that black number 30 car, edging past Earnhardt, trying to move up in line and secure 3rd spot, and Earnhardt will have none of it.
He's not the easiest guy in the world to pass. As you can see, he's fighting back on the outside. Terry Labonte, you're looking back at him right now. These guys are going at it. There is no 2-car draft, 4-car draft. It's side by side all the way back through.
15 laps complete. Sterling Marlin trying to hold off Bobby Labonte, Dale Earnhardt, and Derek Cope in the great American race.
The other day, Karen had to hurry to a surprise birthday party.
Honey, the doctor's on her way. Almost there.
So Karen didn't need any surprises from her car.
Just breathe. We need you to breathe easy.
Ford Taurus has millions of real-life miles behind it, and a reliable door-tech engine in it.
The doctor's here. The doctor's here. I hear someone's in a hurry.
And I know 2 people. Make that 3 people. And we're sure glad that she bought this car. Ford Taurus. Built to last.
Now there's a tire that can survive even this. The Goodyear Eagle F1 Run Flat. even with no air pressure, Goodyear Run Flat technology lets you drive up to 50 miles at 55 miles per hour to safety, so you won't get stuck with a flat. Serious technology, freedom from worry. Eagle F1 Run Flat.
Serious freedom.
Only from Goodyear.
Goodyear, Goodyear. Yes, baby. Ooh, how sweet it is to be loved by you. Yes, it is. I wanna stop and thank you, baby. I wanna stop and thank you, baby. Hey, now, how sweet it is to be loved by you.
This is NASCAR 98. I'm in a groove with new scuff. Talk fast.
Are fans that loyal to their driver's sponsor?
Nate.
What?
NASCAR 98, the ultimate judge. EA Sports. It's in the game.
When you're out on the road, you're not the only one who depends on good brakes. With our upfront pricing policy at Midas, you only pay for the brake repairs you approve.
"18 laps complete. Dale Earnhardt, this is his 20th Daytona 500. He has now led 18 out of 20 trips to the beach."
Wow. There's a new sheriff in town. I think he's taking this thing over right now. You see Bobby Labonte in second there, running very well. Sterling Marlin is complaining that the car is not running to suit him, but yet he's able to lead, and also he's in the top 3 right now.
Here's the pass for the lead. Did Sterling just move over?
No, he got caught with the draft there. You could see the outside line had a good run at him, and they just went by him.
That's exactly what happened. Earnhardt knows how to work the draft off another car as good as anyone, certainly better than most.
So now 7 cars pull away from the pack single file. Earnhardt, Bobby Labonte, Sterling Marlin, Derek Cope, Terry Labonte, Mike Skinner. But behind Mike Skinner, it's still a slugfest. There's the front 5 as they work turn number 3. Skinner a little bit by himself in 6th place, but still feeling the draft. And back behind him, it's a war zone. Look at it.
Wow, you can see how close Hamilton in the 4 car come to hitting the wall as he come off the corner there. That was even too close if he meant to come off wide.
And it looks as if the cars in the low groove of that pack are edging forward. Mike Waltrip, number 21, is the first car in the top groove, and it doesn't look like he's running quite as well.
No, and Dale Jarrett's trying to follow him through there, and they just simply, the cars are passing them by down on the inside. You're right, the low groove right now seems to be working the best.
What a Congo line down the back straightaway there. And you know the incredible part, they're running 200 miles an hour that close to each other, and the wind today is gusting a little bit. The cars are moving 3 to 4 feet in the corners at each other.
Dick Berggren.
As Dale Earnhardt leads this race today, everybody wonders, can he finally win it? Everything seems to have happened to Earnhardt. He's been upside down. He has had a seagull hit in the front of the car. He's run out of gas. He's had a flat tire, all while he's running in the front. And last night in the last practice session, he lost an engine. A push rod failed. Maybe the bad stuff is all done and over with, and today will be Earnhardt's day. Bill Stevens?
There's also a fresh engine in the number 2 car, Bobby Labonte's Pontiac. Yesterday in the last practice, they didn't think that motor had enough power. Jimmy Makar told me this morning that they have enough power to run up front all day long. It's a fresh engine right off the shelf. Ralph Shaheen.
Bill, while a lot of teams have been forming multiple Winston Cup teams to learn new speed secrets, the Bahari team of driver Derek Cope have been going over the pond and working with an upper echelon Formula One team to develop new things for Winston Cup competition. Seems to be working here today. They run in 4.
20 laps, 50 miles, average speed 186 miles per hour.
We'll be working on Buddy Baker's record here today. Keep this up.
1980, fastest 500 ever. Mr. Baker won it.
Well, that's why they call them records. They can be broken. These guys are doing a great job out there right now. The one thing I'm watching is the Pontiac. There is some concern that as they run along, they get better. They get faster. They have tremendous amount of downforce, meaning they have good grip through the corners. And right now they're running second and fourth on the position here, and you can see the Pontiac is a major force this year.
The top forward at the moment is Michael Waltrip, who is running 8th.
5 cars begin to break away from 6th place Mike Skinner, trying to run down that single file draft. Skinner number 31 in blue and yellow.
I believe they're beginning to do it, Mike, now that they've sort of singled out back there behind those others.
44, right side of your screen, that's Kyle Petty. His granddad won this race in '59. His father won it 7 times, and Kyle's making a charge. He started 39th. He's moved up to 16th.
3 Pontiacs on the top side of the racetrack right there. Petty, Andretti, and also Chad Little. They're coming on the high side and really moving by.
And that red and white number 23 there, Jimmy Spencer, he was one of the favorites going into this race because he run so well in the qualifying race and the Bud Shootout last weekend. He got down on the inside and he just didn't go for it. Now he's getting up another line. Maybe he can pick up a little bit. 3 wide going into the turn.
Chad Little on the high side, and that green car had to give way. Kenny Irwin Jr. in 28 was down on the bottom, and things got pretty close there going into turn 1. Bill Stevens.
One of the interesting things we're seeing today are the Pontiacs running well nose to tail. During practice this week, the crew chiefs for the Pontiac cars were saying that when they get together in the draft, they actually slow down. They worked very hard during happy hour yesterday. Some of the Pontiac teams obviously today have found the answer.
Last time a Pontiac won this race, Cale Yarborough, 1983. A little further in that pack, Rusty Wallace and teammate Jeremy Mayfield have traded places to see if it'll work better. They're 3 wide again.
Ernie Irvin in the middle there. You can see him. He thought better of that move right there. On the outside there, Michael Waltrip is really running well on the high side of the race.
Ernie Irvin and Michael Waltrip made the same move at the same time going in. They were going to move up to that high groove, and Michael Waltrip had already committed himself too far, and Ernie wisely backed out of that situation.
It's awful early in the race. We have pit stops to consider. Racing right now, you're really getting an idea of what you need to do as far as adjustments for later on in the race.
Let's check with Ralph.
Mike, the Wood brothers made a gear change with Michael Waltrip's number 21, the orange car. That gear change on Wednesday's late afternoon practice has made all the difference. He finished second in the twin 125s, and he's running up to the front here, all because of 1 gear change.
Now that's Waltrip's 21 on the outside. He won the Winston All-Star race, but he's looking for his first point race win. Cloudy, cool, and very windy here at Daytona. Bobby Labonte said his car was really getting buffeted around. There's Mike Skinner on the bottom, 31. Michael Waltrip up top. Chevy versus Ford. And here are your leaders.
Mike, you can see the first 5 cars there beginning to get a little gap on the next group of cars there. That's because they're not racing. They're staying in line. These guys are double file.
Ned, that's something we saw worked to very good effect yesterday.
Yes, we did in the 300-mile Grand National race. And just moments ago, 2 or 3 laps ago, those cars back there had singled out and had caught the front runners, and then they decided they wanted to go racing again. You see how quickly they can lose that draft and the others pull away.
But now those 5 cars in the lead draft are about to be joined by 3. Mike Skinner in 31 now has Michael Waltrip and Ernie Irvin working single file. The draft here is so important. Why?
Well, you have a car out front breaking the air up, and it's turbulating. If you've ever been in a boat and watched the water actually try to follow the boat from behind, that's what the air does is it goes over these race cars. It builds a vacuum that pulls the car behind towards the lead car. Also, you're not bucking any wind or anything in the second, third, fourth, and fifth car. So in line, it feels like you have 2 motors instead of 1 in there. You're really accelerating.
Dale Earnhardt, your leader, looking back at pole sitter Bobby Labonte, the green car, and just behind them, Sterling Marlin went up to the high side of the racetrack, and he is getting kicked well back in the field.
Yeah,
Mike Skinner has gone past him, so has Michael Waltrip, and now too, Ernie Irvin.
He got shuffled out coming off of turn 2. No one to help him up there. The others just drove by down on the inside. You can see Sterling Marlin in the car number 40 is up there by himself with nobody drafting on him right now.
And that just proves Buddy's point. One car alone cannot run as fast as cars lined up single file. Ralph?
Mike, we talked to the crew chief, Tony Glover, for Sterling Marlin. They are getting a little bit loose in that number 40 car right now, and that's why he is drifting back. But 29 laps down, they've still got a long way to go to that first pit stop, Dick Berggren.
Well, Bobby Labonte and Derek Cope both say they're pushing coming off the corner, but most of the drivers that we are listening to on the radios are telling their crews they're having a hard time differentiating between chassis problems and the wind buffeting them around on the racetrack. That'll make it especially difficult for them to adjust the cars when they come in on pit stops.
Jeff Bodine into the tri-oval here at the start-finish line. 18 degrees of banking. Let's see as they roll off into turn 1 just how much those cars are dancing around.
We're on the high side, and really you don't get the effect of the wind like if you were a little bit away from the wall where the wind's really traveling about. But what it feels like, you pass a car on the interstate and your car gets in that vacuum and it feels like it pulls you towards the truck as you go by. That's what the draft feels like. And if you have any extra wind, it really gets a little bit squirrely.
Now, Jeff Gordon pulled up on number 2 just ahead, Rusty Wallace. Wallace came right down the racetrack to take that low lane away from Gordon. 30 laps complete. Dale Earnhardt, 20 years of trying to win the Great American Race. He is your leader. Bobby Labonte, Derek Cope, Terry Labonte, Mike Skinner, and Michael Waltrip.
You know what?
Budweiser. Budweiser.
What the?
Whoa, whoa. I'm no electrician, but that has got to be dangerous.
Oh, my. Bud? Whoa. Louie.
Frankie, eventually every frog has to croak.
That's not funny.
I laugh when I'm sad.
In February 1998, First Plus introduced another one of their innovative products. And at over 200 miles an hour, it's way ahead of the rest. The Bill Elliott Dan Marino Motorsports Team, brought to you by First Plus Financial. Watch for it. It's the one in front.
All right, you got the list on you?
Yeah, I got the list right here.
We're going to Napa. It's the best place for parts.
Fine. You know what? If I ran Napa, here's what I would do. I would widen the aisles a little bit. I would put a brand new sign so it'd make things easy to find.
All right.
Okay. And I'd have a state-of-the-art computer system to be able to find those parts like that.
Okay, but you've got to admit, you can't beat Napa for their knowledge. I mean, they carry more parts than anybody.
I agree.
Oh, you agree for a change?
Yes, for a change. All I'm saying is they should fix the stores up a little. Wow. Now I could live with this.
Our new cars are here.
I'm on my way. Once in a lifetime, something so special comes along that even the NASCAR champions race to get them.
I've been waiting for these.
Now you can collect the die-cast cars that these NASCAR champions collect. Racing Champions presents NASCAR's 50th Anniversary Collectible Gold Series.
Better get your hands on them
before we get them all.
Racing Champions NASCAR Gold and the new Signature Driver Series die-cast collectibles. Available at your favorite retailer.
You won't miss a second of the racing action because CBS Sportsline brings you all the latest news from Daytona. Columns, interviews, driver bios, and more at cbs.sportsline.com. Today's overhead shots courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes. This year, Goodyear will double its blimp fleet to 6, adding 2 blimps in Europe and a blimp in South America. Dale Earnhardt leads the Daytona 500 after 34 laps. Pole sitter Bobby Labonte. See that big orange dot on the upper windshield of Labonte's car? That signifies he's one of 5 cars eligible for R.J. Reynolds' $1 million bonus. From finishing in the top 5 at Talladega in October, they can put an extra $1 million in the bank if they win here today. It's part of a season-long promotion.
And this race pays $1 million already to the winner, so one of those 5 drivers, if they could win it, that's $2 million. We have the first pit stop coming up right now. as we see them go down into turn 1.
Kyle Petty. Leaders continue as green flag pit stops begin. This looks a little early as Kyle Petty comes in for right side tires on number 44.
Definitely early.
Up front, Earnhardt in a Chevrolet, Labonte's Pontiac, Derek Cope. Then Terry Labonte in 4th. Mike Skinner, Earnhardt's teammate, in 5th. Dick Berggren.
Pit stops will be coming up fairly soon. Larry McReynolds is crew chief for Dale Earnhardt. When will you pit and what will you do?
Well, we can run about 60 or 62 laps on fuel, but you know, at Daytona, you got to kind of go with the flow, you know. Even though we can run that far, we may have to come a little early because that's when most of the group might come. But you definitely change 4 tires. 4 tires early in the race means a lot here. Racetrack just keeps getting slicker and greasier.
Happy with the car?
Yeah, you know, right now, if I knew it was going to be leading, we'd have put more tape on it because it's running pretty cool right now, but we can't count on leading all day long. And our tire carrier just made it, David Rogers, who had a baby girl about 8 o'clock this morning. So proud for him, proud to have him here now.
Well, Larry is not leading anymore. Here comes Bobby Labonte and Derek Cope with him.
Another Pontiac pushing a Pontiac as they go by Earnhardt, down through the tri-oval and down toward turn 1.
Buddy, we said on yesterday's show, to take the lead, you need to have a friend. Bobby Labonte found one there in Derek Cope.
One thing he has to do, though, he has to deal with the 3-car. Earnhardt fights back as they head to the back straightaway, side by side down through there.
And there's a bright bit of color right in that pack, and here it comes. Jeff Gordon is caught the front pack. He nestles right up behind Dale Jarrett's Ford.
He saw Jarrett go high. Jarrett's been running high between turns 1 and 2, and Gordon saw that and said, hey, let me try that. They got a good run and picked off a couple of positions.
Jeremy Mayfield's number 12 inside of Jeff Gordon and Jarrett. Terry Labonte inside, and he bumps Derek Cope. You'll see a big black donut, a wheel mark on the right side of Labonte's yellow and white machine.
Here comes Ernie Irvin making it 3 wide into turn 1. These guys are going at it like it's the last lap.
And it's only the 38th lap.
Now Gordon has moved down to the inside and is working, and there Terry Labonte gets another bump into Mike Skinner.
And Skinner may have brushed the wall in that encounter. Gordon, Rusty Wallace go by unscathed. Is it way too early for this kind of action?
Oh, way too early, Mike. No question about that. But as Larry McReynolds pointed out, the track is beginning to get slicker now. The tires are getting hot. They've been out there for almost 40 laps, sliding around a lot.
Terry Labonte is definitely having a little bit of trouble with his car. You can see the back of his car losing grip, getting a little bit sideways off the corner, and he had to chase it up the bank, and he got into Mike Skinner getting off the corner over there. Skinner hit the outside wall. Lucky we didn't have a caution there.
Joining that group of front cars there is Kenny Schrader, who started back in 31st, so he's done a great job of coming up through the pack.
Look at Labonte's car just in front of Mark Martin Dance coming off the corner.
That's a pretty bad feeling when you have to turn right to go left. When that back end starts around, you have to steer into the slide, and that's going opposite of what you really need to do. Good handling race cars, you turn left to go left.
Off turn 4. Oh, and Labonte again, that car just wiggled loose just a bit. In the blink of an eye, you've got to catch it and set it straight. No, a blink would be too long.
You can see the flag there is really blowing around right now, but that's just part of the story. There's a 200-mile-an-hour wind out there between the cars, and when you get up beside somebody, the vacuum from the inside car to the outside car is unbelievable.
3 abreast again off turn 2. Ken Schrader in that green 33, and trying to squeeze between him and 99 Jeff Burton. It's Dale Jarrett, the 96 winner.
And look at Kenny Irwin, buddy. He has come from 38th position up there with the lead pack.
That's that black and red number 28. There's Irwin, the rookie. Bill Stevens.
Kenny Irwin is flying. Mark Reno, the crew chief, just told me the biggest problem they've had with him today is telling him to be patient. He has been wanting to get out of this double file deal since the beginning of the race, but remember, he crashed in one of the qualifiers the other day, and the spotter's really trying to calm him down.
They ran him in the ARCA race the other day. He won the race, and he said, I had no idea how much I had to learn. And he learned so much by winning that race and actually getting into competition before the Daytona 500.
On board Kenny Irvin. Today's in-car telemetry provided by First Plus Financial.
Getting close to 190 miles an hour there at one point. 7,200 RPMs.
And he heads back toward the start-finish line. 41 laps complete. Bobby Labonte leads Dale Earnhardt. Ernie Irvin, Derek Cope, Jeremy Mayfield has fought his way into the top 5. And last year's winner, Jeff Gordon, is on the move.
Let me tell you a little love story. Happened at this wedding. Groom's buddies all sneak out and do the usual number on the groom's car, right? There it was, the most perfect black Ford Mustang known to man. So right when Mr. Shaving Cream's about to pull the trigger...
I can't do it, man. What? Just can't do it.
I mean, it's a Mustang. It'd be like defacing a national monument or something. Ford Mustang, built to last.
Mobil 1 synthetic motor oil from 35 degrees below zero to 475 degrees above. Nothing outperforms Mobil 1.
It's good to know that in an era of superstars, big corporate sponsorships, and network TV deals, there's an organization that also cares about fairness and sportsmanship, that realizes its fans are the sole reason for its success, and knows it should never go so fast that it can't slow down if there's a good enough reason. This is NASCAR, and this is the way we've done things for 50 years.
Wrangler jeans are the perfect jeans to wear when you're going out for a little seafood with your best buddy. Wrangler, real comfortable jeans. Wrangler jeans, perfect when you're training your dog, or when your dog is training you. Wrangler, real comfortable jeans.
When you're racing for $2 million, things get very close. Terry Labonte and 31 Mike Skinner that brushed together and with the wall just a bit ago. We are still under green from the drop of the first flag. 45 laps. Dale Earnhardt has gone back to the front, bringing Ernie Irvin and number 36 with him. A Chevy and a Pontiac. Derek Cope's number 30 in the 4th place. Chevrolet has led 23 laps today. Pontiac 22. Ford has not put a car up front. Not yet.
I am so impressed with Jeremy Mayfield running along here. I mean, he moved to 4th place way back. He's doing a super job right now.
He started in 13th position. Bobby Labonte got shuffled from the lead back to like about 7th place.
That green car in the lead draft. Now they're going to put Irvin up on the outside.
Yeah, and look at Jeff Gordon on the inside there, just behind Jeremy Mayfield, in the orange-nosed car as he goes up in another position there. He moved all the way up into 5th right now.
Look at Irvin, alone in the top lane. He is being, as they say in the garage area, hung out to dry or clotheslined. There's nothing else with him. Now he is tacked onto the back of the lead draft, but it cost him 3 spots.
Gordon in 4th now. He's moving up.
100 mile average, 186.8 miles per hour. That's as close as we can show you to how fast that feels, folks. Someday you have to come here. Stand next to that fence and feel it for yourself.
I've been up against that wall and watched them come at 200 miles an hour, and I couldn't get out of the way, too.
One car way up high, almost brushing the wall back of the leaders as they try to work in that second pack. And that was Michael Waltrip in 21. He really kicked the dust up at the top of the wall, but don't believe he made any contact with it.
Michael was up there in the top 5 a little while ago, but now has dropped back to around 10th or 11th.
He and Mark Martin drafting together. Those are 2 of the new Ford Taurus body style.
Guys, it's time to talk about pit stops a little bit. There's a lot of things going on down there. You can see the crew starting to move around, getting ready for the first pit stop. Deals are being made. Who will they come in with? Everybody's trying to pick it up here.
Oftentimes, when the leader comes to pit road under green, many of the top contenders follow. But crew chiefs and their emissaries scurry up and down pit road, talking to other teams, trying to make deals on who might stop when. At the front of the field, Dale Earnhardt, as he's been so many times before. And this time, just as on the last lap of 1990, he has Derek Cope filling up his rearview mirror. That time, Earnhardt cut down a tire and Cope went on to victory. Pit stops begin. This is Andy Hillenberg in the Sadler Brothers Chevrolet, making his first stop of the day. "49 laps." Ned getting close. Let's check with Dick Berggren. Dick, have they made a deal in Earnhardt's pit, and how long will they wait?
Well, it's hard to tell if they really have made a deal. I can answer your second question, and the answer to it is 9 more laps, and Earnhardt is going to be in. I can also tell you that we have had men with virtually every uniform from the front group in Earnhardt's pit trying to make that deal with Larry McReynolds. It's a good bet that they all will come in at the same time and that they all will take 4 tires, Mike.
50 laps will be halfway, 125, or rather will be 125 miles quarter distance. 41 of 43 cars on the lead lap.
And one car comes off into the pits. It looks like Ernie Irvin, first of the front runners that will be making a pit stop here.
It is indeed Ernie Irvin. Head towards the pit, number 36.
Bill Stevens.
Ernie Irvin slides into the pits. Ryan Pemberton was just talking to John Wolf from the Interstate Battery Bobby Labonte car, and their deal was, let's do 4 tires. They only wanted to do 2. But Bobby said, well, my car's a little bit shaky out there. I'm going to need the 4. So Ernie Irvin and Bobby Labonte should be getting tires on all 4 corners. Also, 2 rounds of wedge in the right rear, and away Ernie goes.
Ernie Irvin, though, by pitting by himself, has lost that lead draft. Good stop, 19.5 seconds. Dave Marcus is in.
The one thing Ernie Irvin does not want to see now is a caution flag. He would go a lap down. He is on the same straightaway with the leaders. They'll put him a lap down going through the second turn over there.
You cannot make a pit stop at Daytona without losing a lap. The NASCAR mandated 65 mile per hour speed limit down pit road is largely responsible for that. Earnhardt picks up the draft off Ernie Irvin, and he will pull the field past him, as Irvin will need a full lap and then some to come up to full speed.
With these restrictor plate engines, it does take more than a lap to come up to full speed. Nothing you can do about it. Just sit there and watch them drive by.
Dave Marcus has pitted. Greg Sachs, number 98, is in, and Steve Grissom, last year's front row starter, driving for Cale Yarborough, a multiple winner of this event. Greg Sachs makes his first stop of the day. The leaders stay out. Earnhardt, Cope, Mayfield, the youngster from Kentucky, up to 3rd, and Jeff Gordon, the youngest driver to ever win this event, is up to 4th place.
4 cars from the back of the field coming into the pits. Big group of them coming in.
Ted Musgrave is in. John Andretti part of that group as well.
Steve Park, Bobby Hamilton, Rick Mast,
and Jerry Nadeau.
And also Ricky Rudd.
Most of these are cars that started in the second half of the field, and seeing the leaders move away and seeing their cars running a little bit slower, feel that putting on new tires will pick them up in speed. That's why they're in a little earlier than some of the leaders. Now here come the Roger Penske and Penske Prenopus cars onto pit road, teammates Jeremy Mayfield and Rusty Wallace.
Boy, Sterling Marlin tried to get in. Apparently felt he's going too fast, slid the wheels, slowed down too much. He's going to lose a tremendous amount of time. Sterling Marlin, he's not up to speed, and he'll have to come in perhaps the next time around.
Chad Little is in. Bill Elliott, Lake Speed, making pit stops. Ken Schrader, Steve Park. Ricky Craven has to back up into his pit stall and backs into the 77 of Robert Presley. Excuse me.
Boy, that cost him a lot of time, too. Ricky Craven having to back up there. And every second that you lose in the pits is a long way out on that racetrack.
Mike Wallace, Kenny Irwin, Billy Standridge all making their first pit stop. We've been green since the drop of the first flag.
Jeff Gordon's heading towards the pit road now.
And who will come with him?
Well, Michael Waltrip's coming with him, and Mark Martin.
Long pit stop for Ricky Craven. Here's Ralph Shaheen.
Mike, they were hoping to have somebody come down pit road with them, but they got to the point where they had to come in one way or the other. Jeff really had to drive hard to find his way up into the lead pack. Jackman, Barry Muse leads the crew around to the right side. They will change tires on the car. They're not planning on making any chassis adjustments on this number 24. They will take on 4 tires and send this rainbow-colored car back out as quickly as they can.
Also stopping on this lap, Michael Waltrip, Jeff Burton, Jeff Bodine, Mark Martin, Ward Burton, Dick Trickle, and Darrell Waltrip. Now Sterling Marlin is in.
Sterling finally got back to the pits. He made a miscue there trying to come in a moment ago. And here comes a couple of other front runners, Terry Labonte and Dale Jarrett.
Sterling Marlin's pit. Right side tires, 11 gallons of gasoline in each of those gravity-fed cans. And here is Terry Labonte, the outside pole sitter, and Dale Jarrett to his pit. Drink there for Terry Labonte, a wipe of the grill. They use those long poles because only 7 men are allowed to go over the pit wall and service the car. Everything else is done with a long reach from behind pit wall. 4 tires, tank of gas, cold drink, clean windshield. Goodbye. Terry Labonte back in the race. And Earnhardt stays on the racetrack with Derek Coach and his Childress Racing teammate, the blue and yellow car of Mike Skinner in third.
Larry McReynolds told them down in the pits that they could go 60 laps. That was very surprising that they could go 150 miles on a tank of fuel, but he's hearing that right now.
Well, yeah, I hope he's right, because I tell you, if you run out of gas here, that's a long ways to coast around this 2.5-mile racetrack.
Dale Earnhardt has lost this race in almost every way imaginable in 1986. He ran out of gas while leading.
Now, we said that you couldn't make a pit stop and not lose a lap. Well, Jeff Gordon and Rusty Wallace have. They're right in front of the leaders, and they've made their pit stops.
Yeah, that's almost a lap, wasn't it?
That's almost a lap, yes. But boy, they had great pit stops and got in and out the pits very good.
And they are back up to speed.
And that's kind of a break for Earnhardt. You don't use as much fuel in the draft to fall underneath cars along there, so this is stretching that fuel mileage just a little bit for him.
The reason there are less cars in this lead draft is that when those cars are stopped on pit road, the rest of the field is moving down the racetrack, eating up a football field's worth of distance every second. So if you lose 1 second on the pit stop by taking a little bit longer to change a tire or to fill with gas or to get going, well, that means everybody else on the racetrack is 300 feet ahead of you.
Okay, Earnhardt coming in right now.
Derek Colt comes down pit road with him. 65 miles an hour. Looks like they're stopped. Bobby Labonte and Mike Skinner coming in at the same time. Dick Berggren.
Remember last year at Daytona, Earnhardt smokes the tires coming in. Remember last year at Daytona, Earnhardt's crew was very slow. They changed the members on that crew since then, and in fact, there are 2 new outside front and rear tire changes. Jack Lewis on the front, Craig Lund on the rear are new this year. Earnhardt and the 30 Coke came in together. They are going to do their same service together. Whoa, Earnhardt up and gone, Coke right behind him. They're going to try to hook up and see if they can continue to run fast. What do you want for on Earnhardt?
Earnhardt comes off pit road. That yellow line is the blend line. You must stay inside that line and then gently blend up into traffic. And all 4 cars there that went into the pits together come out of the pits together.
That's a tribute to those guys in the pits changing those tires.
But Ned, you see, is there in the bottom lane. It takes a full lap to get up to speed. And Jeff Gordon moves on past Dale Earnhardt. Gordon is the new leader.
That's what great pit stops will do. Jeff Gordon wasn't leading when they come in, but he's leading now. Must had a great entrance to pit road, got back up to speed well, had a great pit stop.
Ray Evernham Gordon's crew chief and mentor, and those Rainbow Warriors gave Jeff Gordon a good stop, and that's why he leads the Daytona 500.
Rusty Wallace got a good stop also, and he's running second.
Ralph Shaheen.
Mike, this top tire here is the one that came off the right front of Sterling Marlin's car. You can see he had gotten a cut. It didn't explode like this right away. He stayed out on the track and kept running on it and running on it. As it lost air out of that little hole, it finally let go and just about shed its skin. He's lucky he didn't get it into the wall.
Sterling Marlin trying to win this race again. Here are your front duo, Gordon and Wallace. You're riding with the leader and defending champion of the Daytona 500. We'll be right back to the Daytona 500.
Oh, my, did you see that?
Louis.
They never saw it coming.
What have you done?
Poor froggies.
You've lost it, Louis.
This is the best day of my life, Frankie.
Bud.
Huh? What was that? Frog?
Bud.
That is a mistake.
Wise.
Ferret said he...
Wise.
What is it?
Bud.
No.
Wise.
No. Oh, no. Oh.
Bud.
Never hire a ferret to do a weasel's job.
Bud.
You promised me, ferret!
Paging Bob Morello. Friends and colleagues, oh Bob. Tired of hearing Bob Morello constantly paged over this system? Then you'll love how our new MCI one-number technology locates even the elusive Mr. Morello. Behold, as I dial Bob's 800 number, witness the call bounce from Bob's office to his home and now to his cell phone.
Hello?
I give you MCI's one-number technology.
Who is this?
How do NASCAR drivers relax after the race? They do a little fishing.
Good fishing hole. Great fishing hole.
You bet.
I wonder why nobody else is here.
Uh-oh. Fortunately, most drivers start with Excite NASCAR Select, the official battery of NASCAR, engineered to start high-compression engines that demand nearly twice the starting power of your car.
Hey, who took all the fish? He did. Whoa!
Excite NASCAR Select, because winter can be a real bear. Available at these stores.
Now there's a tire that can survive even this. The Goodyear Eagle F1 Run Flat. Even with no air pressure, Goodyear Run Flat technology lets you drive up to 50 miles at 55 miles per hour to safety, so you won't get stuck with a flat. Serious technology, freedom from worry. Eagle F1 Run Flat.
Serious freedom.
Only from Goodyear.
Goodyear, Goodyear.
This CBS Sports Race Summary is sponsored by Goodyear, innovators of run-flat technology.
40th annual Daytona 500 after 60 laps, 4 different leaders, 5 lead changes, and it's a record pace. Over that mark of Buddy Baker back in 1980 at 183 miles per hour. No cautions today, and everybody is still trucking out on the Speedway. Joining me right now, 4-time winner of the Daytona 500, Cale Yarborough, now a car owner. First question, Greg Sachs is out there. You're running out of the top 30. What's happened to him?
Well, we either got a shock going to the bad, Ken, or wheel weight. I hope that on this pit stop that it corrected it. We just don't know. You know, so many working parts on these things, anything can happen.
Thornapple Valley Farm having its problems. What about this race, Cale? What do you think?
Well, this is some race. You know, to go this long without a caution flag is unusual for the Daytona 500, but it's quite a race. Great American race.
Yeah, it sure is. You've won it 4 times. What's most memorable to you about winning the Daytona 500?
Oh, Ken, that first one is something that I'll never forget. You know, every driver that's ever driven anywhere in the world, I guess, would like to have a Daytona 500 on the resume. And we did it early on in our career in 1968, and it was probably one of my biggest wins. I'll never forget it.
It was a great battle with Leroy Yarborough that year. Cale, good luck. Let's get back to Mike Joy, and we'll follow this record-breaking race.
Thanks, Ken. You saw Dale Earnhardt there at 9th place after the round of pit stops. And the drivers who pitted with him are in that inside line. They're on track 2. Earnhardt's stop was 21.4 seconds. The man leading the race, Jeff Gordon, had a 17.7 second stop, and that made all the difference.
Mike, we talked about it in the introduction to the race today.
is so important. Track position, I can't begin to tell you, as close as these cars are matched right now to be in that front draft.
Here with Dale Jarrett. Now there's Ernie Irvin just ahead, the car that pitted all by himself. Irvin had a good stop, and he's in third place. Just ahead of him, Rusty Wallace, and out front, leader Jeff Gordon. But that pack has formed up once again among the cars that got good pit stops.
And a guy who might have had a good pit stop, but he miscued coming into the pits was Sterling Marlin, former two-time winner of this race. He's about to go a lap down. He's not far from being a lap down, and boy, that is just going to kill him for today.
Now those cars on the inside line pitted with Earnhardt. There is Mike Skinner, his teammate in 31, Bobby Labonte in 18, and they picked up a hitchhiker in that inside lane, Steve Park. The former modified ace and winner of Grand National races last year is one lap down. He is driving a car owned by Dale Earnhardt, and he has picked up their draft to try and help propel them back to the front. That right side of your screen, that yellow and black car, is Park from Long Island, another second-generation NASCAR driver.
Of course, his dad, Bob Park, one of the top modified drivers.
Finished second to Richie Evans in the national championship one year. This is the group they're trying to catch. Jeff Gordon, Rusty Wallace, Ernie Irvin, and Dale Jarrett. Dick Berggren.
Rusty Wallace, currently running in second place, has put forth an absolutely Herculean effort on this race car. That car is a brand new vehicle, but it's had 6 different bodies on it. They put a body on the car, take it to a wind tunnel, learn something, cut it off, and try all over again. They've been to 2 full-size wind tunnels, a 40% wind tunnel repeatedly, a tremendous amount of track time at both Talladega and here. They mean to do better than 7th, which so far has been their best ever finish in the Daytona 500. Bill?
One of the things some of the teams are concerned with this week in practice was uneven tire wear. I just looked at the tires that came off Ernie Irvin's car in that last pit stop. Ryan Pemberton, the crew chief, looked at him as well and said, boy, they look pretty darn good. After Ernie left the pits, he radioed back, and Ryan said, hey, buddy, your rubber looks pretty darn good after so far in this race.
Mark Martin makes a move to the outside, and that babbling number 6 takes a spot from Terry Labonte, the outside pole sitter, and now Labonte's hung out to dry on the inside.
You would have to speculate that Terry Labonte's experienced some handling problems. He was loose a little while ago, and I don't think they've corrected it. He's going backwards right now.
68 of 200 laps complete. Terry Labonte back to about 8th position in that draft. Ralph Shaheen.
This is the right front tire off of Jeff Gordon's car. Now remember, he started 29th in the race. As he came up through the pack, he was behind cars. He developed a bad push due to the wind buffeting around the car. The tire tells a story. 140, 190, 200 degrees across the width of the tire. This means this car was pushing severely as it was going through the corners. Now that he is out front, the car's nice and loose. It's not so bad. The tire temperatures will be a lot different the next time around.
A great charge by Gordon. But the greatest charge in the history of this race, Fireball Roberts, 1959, started 46th. Without a caution flag, he had the lead by lap 23. Took Jeff Gordon 59 laps to lead after starting in 29th. He's gained 28 positions.
That's Sterling Marlin. As you know, he was leading the race, and Jeff Gordon's fixing to put him a lap down. Look at these cars fighting in the back here. Earnhardt side by side with Chad Little. That's Ward Burton just behind him. They're moving up on the lead pack.
That's 6th through about 20th there.
Side by side for 6th place, the black car Earnhardt. In green and yellow, Chad Little. You're with Dale Earnhardt as he chases Mark Martin down the straightaway to turn 1.
See Dale Jarrett all the way up against the wall there. Everybody's got an idea right now of where their car runs the freest. Dale Jarrett right now would love to have somebody to help him on the high side. You can see Earnhardt's got a toe of the car just in front of him there, Mark Martin. So they're going to go right by Jarrett going down in the corner.
Ward Burton in 22 will be moving up there on the inside. There he is, or rather there's Earnhardt, and right with him is Ward Burton. You're on board Dale Jarrett. And then Robert Yates Ford in the outside lane.
He finally got some help. Chad Little's up there with Dale Jarrett. Just for a moment there, he was pedaling backwards, Ned.
Well, he made a move on Ernie Irvin on the outside, trying to take on the 3rd position. That's when it all started. and nobody followed him up there, so it's for a while, and it really hurt.
Well, sometimes you just got to go blaze a new trail and hope you get some help. Mike Skinner now in 31. That Childress Chevrolet pulls up behind Chad Little's Jack Roush, number 97.
Now they pulled up on Sterling Marlin. I said a moment ago he was about to go a lap down. That's the 40 car right in front of Jeff Gordon. Now if he can stay there, he'll be okay, similar to what Jeff Gordon did a year ago. You know, remember he had a flat tire early in the race, and he was about to get lapped, and the leaders came around. He was able to stay in front of them. When a caution came out, well, he got it all made up. So if Sterling Marlin could do that, you know, it might not be hurt too bad.
If Jeff Gordon passes him, Marlin has lost 1 lap to all the cars on the lead lap. Should that caution flag come out, he's got to fight to stay there.
Back in the back, they're getting restless. You can see them doubling up back there. And I think a lot of cars right now would like to get up in the front so they can actually drive the racetrack and not have to worry about competition back in the back.
Bobby Labonte trying to pick his way back to the front in that bright green number 18, owned by Super Bowl winning coach Joe Gibbs. Joe Gibbs told Dan Marino, who's a new NASCAR car owner, this isn't near as easy as winning football games.
You know, they talk about a driver just riding along. You can see Jeff Gordon's arm in that last picture there. He's working that steering wheel pretty hard through the corners. You can see him just really right on the edge all the time. Hands moving really fast to keep that car right on the edge and keep it fast through the corners.
Average speed, even after pit stops, the average speed for this race, 184.1 miles per hour. Sterling Marlin, number 40, trying to stay on the lead lap and avoid being passed by race leader number 24, Jeff Gordon. CBS Sports coverage of the Daytona 500 will continue after this message and a word from your local CBS station.
At Pennzoil, we know brutal driving doesn't just take place on a racetrack. It begins at the end of your driveway. You stop, you go. You stop, you go. If this reminds you of your commute, we recommend you use Pennzoil Motor Oil. Pennzoil, formulated for today's stop-and-go driving.
Morning, Bob. Morning, Henry.
Stop, go, Pennzoil. Next time you purchase Pennzoil Motor Oil, get a free subscription to your favorite magazine. See store for details.
Tom Selleck is The Closer, premiering CBS Monday after the Olympics.
It is fast. It is competitive.
It is exciting.
It is Pocono.
See all the stars of NASCAR Winston Cup racing at Pocono twice this year. June 21st, it's the Pocono 500. July 26th, it's the Pennsylvania 500. Both races sold out in 97, so call now. Operators standing by. Call 1-800-RACEWAY. Pocono salutes NASCAR on its 50th anniversary.
For those who go the distance, the start is critical. That's why Exxon Superflow races to protect vital engine parts at the start when significant damage can occur. Superflow has a unique formula offering protection that's fast, protection that lasts.
I'm Chuck Norris. Join me for Winter Games coverage on News 2 at 11.
In celebration of NASCAR's 50th anniversary, CBS Sports coverage of the Daytona 500 is sponsored by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR. Hey, race fans, this Bud's for you. Goodyear, innovators of run-flat technology. And by Pennzoil, specially formulated for today's stop-and-go driving.
76 laps complete in the biggest race of the NASCAR season, the Daytona 500. Jeff Gordon, number 24, the race leader. Rusty Wallace, Mark Martin, Dale Earnhardt, and Chad Little has fought his way up to 5th place.
Boys, I tell you what, the Taurus is beginning to show its strength right now. Second, third place right there. Rusty Wallace, and just behind him, Mark Martin.
About to put a lap on the rookie, Jerry Nadeau.
Nadeau's had an interesting career. No cautions yet today, as you see. He started out racing go-karts for 5 years, then moved to open-wheel Formula cars. Road raced here in the United States and in Europe, but decided to come back to America and try his hand at stock cars. He drove a couple for Richard Jackson, and now moves on to this new team owned by Bill Elliott and Dan Marino. And number 13, Jerry Nadeau, has been impressive this week.
The other thing I see, Earnhardt, up to 4th already. He's showing a lot of stress today. The car must be just perfect for him.
Dale Earnhardt's black number 3, right side of your screen, did not have a quick pit stop, but has come back fighting to the front.
Now, we talked about Sterling Marlin a moment ago being able to hold on up front. He was not able to, and he has gone that lap down.
That's Marlin up on the high side getting overpassed. Rather, that is Mike Wallace there. Marlin a little deeper in the pack. Shaheen.
Mike, we saw the problems that Terry Labonte was having earlier in the race with a loose race car. Well, they were able to help him a little bit and tighten him up some just during that last pit stop. The problem is they have not gone far enough. That car is extremely loose. Terry's just trying to hang on to the next round of pit stops.
Labonte, number 5, running just ahead of Ward Burton and Lake Speed. And here is your lead pack once again. Nadeau doing a good job of hanging on to the lead lap.
Yeah, he's running in 30th position.
Yeah, but he's fixing to go a lap down. You can see Gordon. Look at all the lead cars there as they get single file. That's what happens in the draft. I mean, you're just out. There's nothing you can do. Nadeau's driving a perfect line around the racetrack, but these guys hooked up there, they just go right by him.
Jerry Nadeau, though, he's going to learn a lot about drafting at 190 miles an hour this week.
He certainly will. This is a great experience for him. He did a good job in the 125-mile qualifying races on Thursday.
And there's Nadeau being overpassed by Bobby Labonte and Derek Cope.
Carrying the Dolphin colors there for his new car owner.
Cope in the Bahari Racing ride vacated by Johnny Benson after last season. Benson, torn up in a crash not of his own making in Thursday's qualifying race, has to sit out the 500, one of 13 drivers that came here to run and had to go home.
Chad Little in the green car, running in 5th place there. That's a Thunderbird. He wants to move that forward on towards the front a little more.
4 teams this year have the option of using the newly approved Taurus body style or the Ford Thunderbird. They can use a 98, 97, or 96 model year car. For Chevrolet, the Monte Carlo. For Pontiac, the Grand Prix. Those are the approved models. Most of the Ford teams have elected to go with the Taurus right from the start of the season. 3 in this race have elected to stay with the older body style, the Thunderbird. The choice is up to each individual team owner.
I bet they're thinking right now, I'm going to call my body man as soon as the race is over and get my Taurus on there.
Well, Little having a good run here. He pulls out with Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt makes a move down on the inside, but there's Dale Jarrett. He moved to the outside. That might cost him.
The 2nd through 5th place cars in line have never won the Daytona 500. This man has, Dale Jarrett, twice. You can see that line snake back and forth.
As they try to either break the draft or pick up a little momentum.
I think Chad Little wants to go. Here he comes up alongside Earnhardt.
Chad Little has to be just thrilled to death. Joined the Jack Roush Racing team, and you can see this guy is for real. He just passed Earnhardt.
Did it basically by himself, too. He didn't have a great deal of help. I mean, not right on his back bumper. Bobby Labonte was back there for a moment, but, well, that's pretty impressive.
Well, now he has his teammate just in front of him, Mark Martin, and they run these guys down. Right now, they're nose to tail working towards the front.
That allowed Bobby Labonte to come right back up into contention. Number 18, the pole sitter, and one of 5 drivers vying for that $1 million bonus should they win today. The others are Terry Labonte, Ernie Irvin, Kenny Schrader, and John Andretti.
I've been watching Bobby Labonte. I mean, that car has come from way back and run this lead pack down. See Earnhardt looking to the outside. Right now, Bobby Labonte may be the fastest car on the Speedway.
18 laps from halfway. And we are caution-free thus far.
Here he comes to the outside. Bobby Labonte looks. Can he make the move going down into turn 1?
He's got some help. No, he doesn't. Earnhardt was his best friend right up on his bumper. And then Dale took the number 3 to the bottom of the racetrack and zoomed on past.
Now he comes up there and says, help me now, Bobby. Moves up in front of him.
Doubt that.
Buddy, that looked like the old Daytona slingshot you folks would pull with those Hemi-powered Dodge cars back when they had unrestricted horsepower and not so great aerodynamics.
Well, it's back to drivers right now, but I tell you, when you make a move like that, you hope you don't have to count on him when it really counts.
Dale Jarrett was up in that top 3, and now he's back to 11th place.
Got out of the groove down on the inside, and no drafting partner there, and boy, they just went by him right on the outside.
That's Michael Waltrip just ahead in the Wood Brothers Ford.
The great part of the draft is if you get with the right company around you, you can go from 11th to 1st in 2 or 3 laps if you get a good run.
Look ahead of him, buddy, side by side up there at 4th place. Earnhardt and Chad Little.
Chad right by himself. That's not good. He needs some help.
Earnhardt has Bobby Labonte with him. Earnhardt number 3, Labonte in 18, and they draw a bead on the Ford Taurus. Mark Martin number 6. Boy, I love that new shot that hangs out overhead of turn 4 like a traffic light would.
Okay, you're seeing 2 distinctive different styles of driving right now. Earnhardt has got the outside groove working when he needs it. He'll tuck in every once in a while, and then he'll fair out a little bit, run the high side. He knows he has that part of the racetrack if he needs it.
50 years of NASCAR racing, 40 Daytona 500s, and perhaps never one as much in doubt as to the outcome of this one. 15 laps to halfway. Last year's winner, Jeff Gordon, leads Rusty Wallace. 16 years he's been looking to lead and win this race. So is Mark Martin. So is Dale Earnhardt. So is Bobby Labonte, Chad Little, Derek Cole, Jeremy Mayfield, Mike Skinner, and Ernie Irvan, the top 10.
Since they started using Quaker State motor oil, Jeff Gordon won the 97 Winston Cup. Jack Sprague brought home the 97 Craftsman Truck Series trophy. Tony Stewart won the 97 Indy Racing League Championship. And the Quaker State Saturn racing team took first place in the 97 SCCA Championship. Which makes you wonder, is it in their blood or in their engines? Quaker State, chosen by winners.
From the producers of The Fugitive, a daring escape, a cross-country manhunt. No one had seen anything like it.
I have.
But this time,
This is a ruthless killer.
the fugitive they're chasing
Give me a hand.
is one step ahead.
Turn around!
Tommy Lee Jones, Wesley Snipes. What do you intend to do?
Catch him.
U.S. Marshals. The new chase begins March 6th.
Hello? Hi, it's Mom. Quick, turn on the TV.
Now, the Sprint Cents dime a minute rate is good around the clock every day to the person you call the most.
You called me to see a new Sprint commercial. So now we can talk anytime. About anything. Like why it's almost noon and you're still not dressed? Huh? I don't know how they do that.
Call 1-800-PIN-DROP now and talk away.
Okay, Bongo, wave. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Come on, he's never gonna get it.
Will you look at that?
Yeah, finally learned to wave bye-bye.
The new redesigned Ford Ranger, the only compact pickup built Ford tough.
Welcome back to Daytona. Our Aflac trivia question: who was the last driver to win the Daytona 500 in consecutive years?
Well, it hasn't been too long ago, Mike. That one's pretty easy.
Sterling Marlin. Won it for the team that Bobby Hamilton is driving for today, and Jeff Gordon is trying to win it in consecutive years today. Bobby Hamilton running near the tail end of the lead lap, though, in 28th position. Lee Petty in 1959, Marvin Patch in 1961, and Fireball Roberts in 1962 drove to victory lane in a Daytona 500 run without a caution flag. Fireball was the first driver to win this race, starting on the pole.
Mike, I have to wonder if Earnhardt might be getting a little bit of chassis problems. He made a great run up towards the front. Now he's moving out on the racetrack and beginning to show a little bit of looseness off the corner. The back of the car seems to be dancing around a little bit.
Earnhardt with Bobby Labonte close behind. 89 laps complete. Let's visit with Ken Squire.
The man of the hour is Buddy Baker. That's the big story. His record has stood since 1980 of averaging 177 miles an hour to win this race over 500 miles. Now, consider that when he did that, there were 15 laps of caution in that race, and he still powerhoused the field to establish that mark. But it's in jeopardy because as we're coming to halfway, they're averaging 184.7 today. So Buddy Baker's mark that has stood all these years is the one they're talking about in the press center right now.
Well, I certainly hope that we don't have a caution. I love the idea of having the record, but I want these guys to be safe for 500 miles, and competition's what the thing's all about. They're doing a great job today.
Jeff Gordon trying to take Baker out of the record book right here. 184 mile an hour average. Rusty Wallace right with him. You're in with Mark Martin. Here's Dick Berggren.
Mark Martin currently running in third position. It's a bit of a surprise because they got a real late start trying to get their cars ready for Daytona. They were hoping for some rules considerations from NASCAR. They didn't get them. They got started late, and all week long they have been saying, we may not be a factor. We're really not ready for the Daytona 500. But the crew has worked hard on Martin's car. They've done their work on the chassis rather than the aerodynamics. He is flying today. It is, most importantly, a brand new crew and a brand new crew chief. For the first time in 10 years, Mark Martin does not have Steve Meal as his crew chief here at the Daytona 500.
And right now he doesn't have a drafting partner, Dick. He's on the outside, and the train's going by him down on the inside.
Jeremy Mayfield, number 12, pulls alongside. Bobby Labonte has gone past.
I cannot tell you what a great job Jeremy Mayfield's doing at this moment. Derek Coates going with him in the 30 cars. You see him come across Mark Martin going down the back straightaway there. Jeremy Mayfield's running the race of his life right now.
There weren't inches between Cope's car and Mark Martin's when Cope slid across up into the high lane in front of Mark Martin. 190 miles an hour, the thickness of the Sunday paper apart. Kyle Petty on pit road for tire change.
Last car on the lead lap in 29th place, but he was the earliest one to pit before Mike, so he's a little off sequence from the others.
Jeff Gordon is pulling this train around Daytona, but it's Rusty Wallace, the man who wants to lead. He has not led the Daytona 500 since 1991. He sits there in second place in Roger Penske's number 2. In the last 5 Daytona 500s, Wallace has been running at the finish only once. Earnhardt to the inside on Wallace, who comes right down to slam the door on his nose.
Nada.
And that means
not gonna make it. These guys are going at it right now. You don't only race out of the windshield. You have a mirror in there that's almost a foot wide to look at your competition back there. You'll see right there. He pulled over a little bit, protecting that spot.
Earnhardt went to the inside, and Rusty Wallace did the same thing.
Rusty saw it coming. He said, no, sir, I'll block that spot. That's mine.
Behind them, they're 3 abreast in that pack as they try to get past Nadeau. Ernie Irvan was 3 abreast with Derek Colt. Mark Martin, they are again. It's Michael Waltrip on the inside.
Wow, what a drive by Michael Waltrip. Down into turn 3, he got a great run off the corner there. The guys were kind of racing side by side. He got a great slot, but look at Chad Little on the outside of the 97 fighting back.
That's the green car.
Mark Martin, his teammate, both of those Roush cars. Mark Martin on the outside there in the white and blue 6.
5 laps to halfway. In the Great American Race, Jeff Gordon leads Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt.
Degrees below zero to 475 degrees above. Nothing outperforms Mobil 1. Mobil 1 0W30. Superior protection when you start your car.
Finally,
after 49 years. You now have a soft drink that not only refreshes your thirst, it refreshes your sport. Drink accordingly.
This is NASCAR 98. I'm in a groove with new scuffs. Talk fast.
Yeah, who's the best driver?
Wins Gordon. Consistency, Labonte. Cups, Earnhardt. All-time, the king, Richard the 43rd.
What's the toughest track?
Bristol's a blender. Gonna hang Ralph's at the Glen, but Darlington's too tough to tame.
Are fans that loyal to their driver's sponsor?
Nate.
What?
Clear the lines, people. I'm bumping and grinding on my way down Victory Lane. NASCAR 98, the ultimate judge. EA Sports. It's in the game.
The problem with most home equity lenders is no equity means no loan. That's because they only let you borrow up to 80% of the value of your home. But at First Plus, you can borrow up to 125% of the value of your home. So even with no equity, you can still consolidate bills, make home improvements, or even get some extra cash. Just call 1-800-510-PLUS. You'll get an answer before you hang up. At First Plus, no equity is no problem. So call 1-800-510-PLUS.
Daytona International Speedway, the biggest race of NASCAR, the Daytona 500. And as they come across the stripe in 2 laps, one of those drivers will be $10,000 richer for leading the halfway lap. Mike Joy with Buddy Baker and Ned Jarrett. Ken Squire above Victory Lane. Dick Bergman, Ralph Shaheen, and Bill Stevens on pit road. 96, 97, and 98 are 3 of the 4 laps of this race that Earnhardt has never led. The other is lap 200. Earnhardt's trying, though, every lap. He goes upside, Rusty Wallace. He goes downside. It sounds like that Chumbawamba song.
Well, that'll work right now, but I wouldn't want to do that to Earnhardt with 10 laps to go, I can tell you that. You might get a different view. You might be looking in the mirror watching the straightaway get longer. Let's take a lap with Earnhardt. That's the start-finishing line. You can see the orange line across, out against the wall, down the straightaway, following Rusty Wallace in the draft. They'll go to the bottom of the racetrack. Earnhardt goes up. That's the difference in 2 ideas of what it takes at this part of the race. Earnhardt's in the high groove, Rusty Wallace and those guys right on the white line on the bottom. Against the wall down the back straightaway, you can see them move over to get in the slipstream, so you get that extra toe from the car in front of you. As they head down into turn 3, you can see a lap car there as they start to the high side to get by him. Jeff Gordon drifts up. The 2 car there. Rusty Wallace moves up. Now watch them when they come to the straightaway here. They go right out against the wall and right back into the tri-oval. That's a lap around Daytona.
And it's the halfway lap. Ring the cash register for Jeff Gordon. He picks up $10,000. 14 times. The halfway leader has gone on to win the Daytona 500, including Bill Elliott twice, Richard Petty twice, Buddy Baker in 1980. Of course, he led almost every lap that year.
Yeah, I had a great car, a great team. That's what it takes. I said at the start of the race, it takes great teams, but it took great teams since the day the first Winston Cup race was ever run. Somebody had an advantage by having great people to work with them, so you can't take all the credit being the driver, believe me.
Bobby Allison did that twice. So did Cale Yarborough. Once, Junior Johnson, Mario Andretti, A.J. Foyt, and Davey Allison, along with Baker, led the halfway lap and went on to win. This is Jeff Gordon leading the Daytona 500, trying to win it 2 years in a row.
You see the tape in the middle of the steering wheel. That centers up the steering. If he was to get in a spin where he had to center up to know where he was back straight, that keeps it. And also when you make a pit stop, you can get the wheel straight so you know where they're at there with that tape. When it's straight up, that's straight ahead.
Looking out the windshield of Jeff Gordon's car, and according to NASCAR rules, once you reach the halfway point of the race, if it should be called for darkness or rain, the race would be official. So we'll have a completed Daytona 500 today.
And the sun popped out just as we hit halfway.
Yeah, it looks the best here right now that it's looked all day long. Certainly better than the forecast.
They call that Bill France weather here in Daytona. Since Bill France Sr. built this speed plant in 1959, this race has never been rained out. It's been raining at 11:30 in the morning, and we've still started on time, gotten the whole race in. It's been rain shortened, but never rained out. Dick Berggren.
Jeff Gordon just called into his pit crew, and I'll tell you what, it's bad news for everybody else out here. Gordon said, I quote, "I don't know what we can do to make this car any better. It's awesome." Oh, boy.
Well, Doctor, that means cha-ching if he's perfect, because that car is running flawless. You can see he still has to work pretty hard in the corners. His hands are still moving pretty hard on the steering wheel. It's not just a ride around in the car. They still have to keep that car under control every second.
Breaking away from the field, Jeff Gordon, Rusty Wallace, Dale Earnhardt, and Bobby Labonte. That one car by itself in 5th place, trying to run them down just behind these leaders. There's Jeremy Mayfield, and Ned, it looks like he's catching them.
Well, he's dropped back a little bit, and he's trying to get back in the line of the draft. He has a fast race car. We've talked about him several times today. He's done a great job, so he might be easing back up on them.
Some people like the opera sound. To me, that's the prettiest thing I've ever heard. When those cars come off the corner like that.
Pit stops, buddy. Is this Ernie Irvan?
Ernie Irvan's in the pits. He stopped, if you can remember, just a little bit before the leaders last time on pit stops.
We expect the leaders in 2 more laps. Bill Stevens.
Down here with Ernie Irvan, this will be a 4-tire stop for the 36 car. Also, they're going to take 1 round of wedge out of the right rear. There you see they're cranking on the back of the car. Right side rubber is on, left side rubber going on right now. They want to get back into the lead draft. It's very important. These Pontiacs are very quick when they're in the lead draft. They don't like to trail anybody, and that was the beauty of a pit stop.
That overhead view among the 85 lenses available to Director Larry Cavallina. Most ever for a single location, single day sporting event. And that chrome foil number on the roof of Irvan's car, denoting he's one of those 5 cars that could win the $1 million bonus today.
And a lap back right now. You can see the leaders putting him 1 lap down right at the moment.
Happened to him the first round of pit stops also.
But it was a little further on the back straightaway, so he did lose a little bit of time this time to what he did before.
Jeff Gordon. Last year, the Winston Cup champion for the 2nd time, and the Daytona 500 champion for the 1st time. Rusty Wallace, right behind him.
We talked a little bit ago about the sun coming out now. The difference is going to warm the temperatures, and sometimes that makes a difference on the racetrack, especially in the handling of the race cars. So it'll be interesting to see who it helps and who it hurts.
Ned, you're correct on that. What you have here, you have a racetrack that has a lot of races on it. And when the thing gets oil and rubber on it, it begins to get a little slick anyhow, even without the sun. When the sun gets on it, it makes all that stuff kind of greasy, and the cars really change on you.
Now a piece of tape going on the grill of Rick Mass' car there, trying to get a little more downforce on the nose of that car. It's running cool enough to permit the use of that tape. Close off a little grill, get a little more downforce, get a little more speed.
4,200, wheel straight, foot on the brake. Dave got him in.
That is crew chief Ray Evernham, former modified racer himself. He's crew chief and mentor to Jeff Gordon, the race leader. Are they going to pit?
Yes, they are. All 5, all 10, 12, 14, 15 of the top drivers coming in right now.
Feeding time at the zoo. Here they come.
65 miles an hour, pit road speed.
Ralph Shaheen.
The crew is ready to go here in Jeff Gordon's pit. They come around to the right side of the car. Shane Parslow, Mike Trower going to work with what are known as thunder guns. The impact wrenches that spin at over 10,000 RPM to get those plug nuts off as quick as they can. Right side change. I'm going to work on the left side. Sticker tires, basically brand new tires going on all 4 corners. To Dick Berggren.
Wallace just had a great stop. A little bit over 18 seconds. He has beaten Earnhardt out of pit road. Jeremy Mayfield will follow Earnhardt down the 18. Trouble on pit road. Dale Jarrett spinning on pit road.
Have another one.
More cars spinning. Trouble on pit road.
Jeff Bodine hit Dale Jarrett coming down pit road. Jarrett was coming out of his pit. Bodine headed into his.
Ward Burton also got tagged and turned around in pit stall. You see him trying to get straight again.
And that's going to be a costly pit stop for several drivers, those that had the misfortune of being
Especially Jeff Burton in the Roush number 99, who had to back away from pit wall once the lane was clear and then pull in. Pit stops continue. Dick Trickle, Bill Elliott, Steve Park, Jeff Bodine. Let's show you what happened on pit road as second round of stops under green.
Okay, we see the driver. There's Jeff Gordon leaving the pits. Here comes Dale Jarrett right here coming out of the pits. And back there is, he hits, see Jeff Bodine was coming into the pits. He didn't, apparently the spotter didn't tell him another car was on the outside, so he went right out into Jeff Bodine, spun Jarrett down to the inside.
And coming into the pits, Jeff Burton, coming into his pit stall, had to spin out to miss Jarrett.
I'm going to make a prediction. He was looking at the wreck and almost overshot his pits and slammed the brakes on and almost spun out. That's what Jeff Burton looked like he did. See right there, oh, he got tagged. I seen something hit him there on the left rear corner.
Right front badly crumpled on Dale Jarrett's 88. You see it from that in-car camera. Not all of the leaders have pitted. Joe Nemechek moves up onto the front spot after pit stops. Work on Derek Copes. Chuck Ryder owned number 30. There's Nemechek, number 42. Yesterday's winner in the Napa Auto Parts 300 for the Busch Grand National Cars. You saw that one live here on CBS. Nemechek led 106 of the 120 laps yesterday. It was all but boring behind him, but front row Joe became first place Joe. Dale Jarrett is coming back onto pit road. Since we are still under the green flag, this second stop will be very, very costly.
Mikey has a lot of damage to the right front corner of that car. You can see there, the right front tire is flat.
Let's show you again what happened on pit road.
He had to move outside. Jarrett saw Mark Martin starting out, so he cut out to move around him, and Jeff Bodine was coming into the pits, and to make that contact, and a costly situation.
Bill Stevens.
Lots of damage on the right front, as you can probably see. Down here, they got a hacksaw out, and they're whacking away at that sheet metal. They're going to pull a big chunk of that metal away from the car. They've already changed the right front tire. They've got all kinds of 200-mile-an-hour tape that's going to go on there, hopefully to keep that fender from flapping too much. A very costly development here. Terrell Shaheen.
After Jeff Gordon's pit stop, he smelled smoke, rubber smoke, inside the car. They radio back and forth between him and crew chief Ray Evernham. They believe what he smells is from somewhere else, but not from inside his car. They're not really sure what it is or where it even comes from.
Jeff Gordon continues on. Joe Nemechek leads this race. Gordon now in second, pulling up on Kenny Irwin Jr., the rookie, and moving past on the inside. Black flag is out for Ricky Rudd, Brickyard 400 champion. You're watching from Irwin as the leaders go on past. Gordon, Wallace, Earnhardt, Mayfield.
Wow, look at this. They're running 180 miles an hour off the corner. They're turning about 6,500 down the straightaway. With restrictor plate motors, you try not to power over 7,000 with them because you don't get enough air and fuel in the car to make it really run over 7,000 RPM. So you just put a gear in there.
In-car telemetry provided by First Plus Financial today. Pit stops continue, but Joe Nemechek, driving for Felix Sabates, leads the Daytona 500. First time he's led this race in 4 starts. We'll be back with more of the Great American Race. We're just past halfway.
Now there's a tire that can survive even this. The Goodyear Eagle F1 Run Flat. Even with no air pressure, Goodyear Run Flat technology lets you drive up to 50 miles at 55 miles per hour to safety, so you won't get stuck with a flat. Serious technology, freedom from worry. Eagle F1 Run Flat.
Serious freedom.
Only from Goodyear.
Goodyear, Goodyear.
Ferret, ferret, ferret. Do you even remember our original plan? Oh, you do, huh? You didn't stick to it, did you? What were you, nuts? Look at me. How can you even look at me? Turn away.
You can keep your car looking clean, but you've got to keep your engine clean, too. Newly formulated Valvoline DuraBlend motor oil is a synthetic blend that suspends the dirt, unburned fuel, and water that cause harmful deposits and reduces oil burn-off. DuraBlend protects vital engine parts, so your engine runs cleaner and better longer. It outperforms all leading conventional motor oils because a car can look great. But it's what's inside that counts. Valvoline DuraBlend.
You know, I can tell just by looking whether a vehicle's been driven hard or not. This guy's one of my regular customers. Scorched brake rotors, beat up oil pan, probably never takes his foot off the gas. And he trusts me to make sure it performs when he needs it most. So there's only one brand of auto parts I trust, CarQuest. I mean, you never know. Someday, he might need to give me a ride.
CarQuest, the professional choice. Louis, I've been thinking.
What's up?
I'd like you to start sitting on another branch.
But this is our branch, Frank.
Louis, you tried to rub out the frogs.
It was the ferret.
See that branch over there?
That's not a nice branch.
It's a beauty. That's your new home.
There's no view from there.
The Daytona 500, where a moment's miscue can dash your hopes of winning $1 million. 115 laps completed. 4 cars in that tight lead draft. Jeff Gordon, last year's champion, followed by Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt, who've tried a combined 36 years to win this race. And Jeremy Mayfield, the young driver from Kentucky who grew up watching Darrell Waltrip and thinking, hoping someday he'd have a chance to run this race. And with this team and their new partnership with Rusty Wallace's Penske team, Mayfield is a serious contender today.
Mike, you can see what a gap you had there between the first 4 and Bobby Labonte here running right by himself. He needs some help. Mike Skinner looks like he is now joining up. They may could run him down, but that's a big deficit to try to run down.
Bobby Labonte, the pole sitter. Skinner, last year's pole sitter. A little further back, Mark Martin in 7th place. Down on the inside with Ken Schrader, the 8th place car. Schrader driving hurt as they follow rookie Kenny Irwin. Irwin is 1 lap down. And there's Mark motioning to the cars behind him.
He's wanting to stay in line right now and try to catch that lead bunch. They know right now they're dead in the water if they don't do something. So they have to try to stay in line and run that front group back down because they are really a good ways back.
That group is 3 seconds behind the lead pack of cars. There's what just 3 seconds looks like here at Daytona. From here to eternity.
Wow. Not a great deal of, you don't get much help from the draft of those cars up front there.
Mark Martin moves to the inside as Irwin, 1 lap behind, pulls over, lets the lead lap cars through. Dick Berggren.
Rick Cope, who had been a contender early, is on pit road. The problem, a right front fender. They've had contact, and that fender is flopping in the breeze. They're trying to put tape on it, brace it so it'll stay there. Cope now backing up as they try to pry the fender away from the tire. This is oh so costly. They did think they had a shot at the Daytona 500. Not anymore. Ralph?
Remember, we took a look at the right front tire of Jeff Gordon's car after the first pit stop, and the tire temperature went increased across the tire. This time, it's even all the way across. That's an indicator that that push that he had in the front of the car is now gone because he's running up front in clean air.
Jeff Gordon, your leader, Rusty Wallace, Dale Earnhardt, Jeremy Mayfield. And you're with Dale Earnhardt. Out of turn number 4 and down the front straightaway. Let's have a look back at last year's 3rd place finisher who started in the last row and came up to 3rd. Ricky Craven, the Newburgh, Maine driver today, running on the lead lap in 19th position, right behind Mike Wallace. Telemetry on board Ricky Craven's car.
You can see 180 miles an hour going down in the corner there, 6,500 RPM. That's John Andretti just in front of him there. They're nose to tail coming down towards the tri-oval on the front straightaway.
And the car down on the track apron was Ricky Rudd headed for the pits.
And Buddy, you talked about the lower RPMs with these restrictor plate engines. When they are unrestricted, as they'll be next week at Rockingham, North Carolina, they turn those things about 8,500, sometimes to 9,000 RPMs.
The Daytona 500 is annually a sellout, but there are still seats available at Rockingham, North Carolina on the 1 Mile Speedway for next Sunday's second race in the Winston Cup Tour. Bill Elliott leading a pack of cars. John Andretti driving for Richard Petty this season with Craven and the number 4 of Bobby Hamilton, who was Petty's driver last season. Musical chairs rather common in the off-season in NASCAR racing. Bill Elliott's picked up a pie plate.
Sure does.
You don't think he went through the drive-thru on one of those pits?
No. Don't go there.
Now, the leaders are able to get away from that second pack, Ned, because they have picked up the draft of these cars about to be lapped.
We saw that happen here yesterday in the 300-miler. Some cars broke away, and they didn't pull too far away from the pack behind them until they started lapping cars. And then when they picked up that draft like these cars have done right here, then they really picked their speed up. Look at Earnhardt. He was trying to go high on the outside, but I think he got boxed in there.
He was trying to go where Jeff Gordon didn't as they came to those lap cars.
What he's trying to do is use these slow cars at the pit so he can make a move towards the lead.
He's got the lead. Gordon, though, is not going to be denied. Gordon has Rusty Wallace. Earnhardt had Jeremy Mayfield. Side by side, they come down to complete the 122nd lap. Gordon at the stripe, but Earnhardt has Rusty Wallace with him.
Gordon's out of the draft right now. They should go right on by him. He's leading Rusty Wallace and Jeremy Mayfield as they go right on by him down into turn 1.
Jeff Gordon hanging tough on the inside, trying to get back up in line.
And you said they were picking friends. Find their friends there.
2 Fords and 2 Chevrolets in the lead draft.
And up front, 2 drivers who have tried a combined total of 36 Daytona 500s to find the way to victory lane.
Dale Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace.
Jeremy Mayfield now 3rd, and Jeff Gordon, who has led much of this race, back to 4th. There, that blue car is Joe Nemechek, just ahead of the leaders. Nemechek was leading, made a late pit stop, came back out on the racetrack, and now he's at the tail end of the lead lap. There's Nemechek.
Pulling pretty quickly, Mike, now that they've caught him. As we talked about those cars a moment ago, once they get the sniff of that draft, they really pick up.
Nemechek drafting Steve Grissom. In Jeff Gordon's pit, Ralph Shaheen.
Mike, apparently push developing in the 24 car now with Jeff Gordon. They'll keep an eye on it and see if they can't get it fixed. The next time in, they're going to have to stay out as long as they can to keep him in the lead pack.
You can see Jeff Gordon right on the white line there. He seems to be...
I got a shredded tire down low on the back stretch.
And you've got Ward Burton slow in the back straightaway.
That guy's throwing it all over. He's going into 3 right now.
Spotters and crew chiefs talking with their drivers. And there is Ward Burton, who has cut down a tire and will make it back around to pit road.
You could hear Jeff telling Ray Evernham there's stuff all over the racetrack back here.
And caution is out for the first time today. The yellow flag waves over the Daytona 500. 125 laps of green flag racing now. We're under caution. CBS Sports coverage of the Daytona 500 continues after this message and a word from your local station.
Matt, got your email. Vancouver? Genius. Passed it on to Epps. He's running it through the Northwest.
Hey, Matt. Ideas a hit in the Northwest. Expect love letters. I've got purchasing checking suppliers. There he is.
Good morning.
Specs at it pretty, Matt.
Legal's putting it through the mill.
Now, Jim,
Counselor?
Looking a little golden this morning, son.
You want it up top. Client briefing. Your Vancouver idea.
Want to take your business to the next level?
See it here, see it live, or you'll never see it again. The Grammys on CBS. Q104. The 10 in a row classic rock station. The most music. We play 10 in a row, or we pay $10,000.
Only the good die young.
Q104.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, now touch me, baby.
The 10 in a row classic rock station. Q104.
Bell Atlantic takes special pride in sponsoring the U.S. National Lunars team because just as satisfying as guiding you through the wilds of communication is spurring them onto the gold. While things are happening, Bell Atlantic, we'll see you there.
This is your Olympic station, CBS 2.
In celebration of NASCAR's 50th anniversary, CBS Sports coverage of the Daytona 500 is sponsored by Ford F-Series. The best-selling American trucks are built Ford tough. AT&T, proud partner of the 1998 U.S. Olympic team. And by the more than 1,800 AutoZone stores across America.
We are under caution for tire debris from Ward Burton, and in the run on to pit road, Rusty Wallace got out first, and Mark Martin's Jack Roush Ford is being pushed backwards. And behind the wall, Dick Berggren?
Well, I'm not sure what it is yet, Mike, but we're going to tell you real soon. Apparently, it's a drive shaft we've just picked up on the radio. We're on our way there. We'll bring you the report in a moment.
Dale Jarrett's crew is working hard on that right front fender as Rusty Wallace's crew, led by Robin Pemberton, led the race off pit road. We'll be right back.
Well, if I had money to tell you what to do, I'd go downtown, buy a Ford truck or two. I'm crazy about a Ford truck. Lord, I'm crazy about a Ford truck. I'm gonna buy me a Ford truck and cruise it up and down the road. I'm gonna buy me a Ford truck and cruise it up and down the road.
The official truck of NASCAR is built Ford tough.
Synthetic motor oil. From 475 degrees above zero to 35 degrees below. Nothing outperforms Mobil 1.
Here's to all those who dream of being a champion.
This CBS Sports Race Summary is sponsored by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, the king of beers.
Under caution for the first time today after 127 laps, 317.5 miles have been run. 7 different leaders, lead changes 10 times, and that average speed is still over the Baker record of 1980. 2 cars have retired from the event. Kevin LePage was the first out. A little power failure there, and now Mark Martin behind the wall with the rear end gone on that car. Rusty Wallace, at the moment, running in front. Since 1991, 4 wrecks here at Daytona. This has not done well. Take a look at this in 1993. Back straightaway, 190 miles per hour. And he walked away. But his luck in this 500 has not been good. This is his 16th attempt to win the 500. Engine failures, crashes in this race. Some have considered that he may be just a little temperamental on that throttle with all the things that have happened to him. One of the guys that helped him to cure that was Buddy Baker. Let's go to Dick Berger.
Mark Martin's view of the Daytona 500 has just changed. He had been watching it on the racetrack. Now he's looking through his windshield at the cars as they go by. What happened to this thing?
Well, we broke a gear trying to get out of the pits there. Just a bad luck thing. I mean, you know, nothing we did. It just happens once every 10 years or something like that. Man, we had a good run going. You know, I thought we were giving Valvoline, Cummins, and Bugles, Bosch, Ford, Eagle One, all these guys something to cheer for. You know, I don't know if we had a shot to win, but we had a top 5 car, and the guys, everybody pulled together and worked real hard to put this thing together, and this is just a real disappointing way to have it turn out.
And Mark Martin is yet another of those veterans who has never won the Daytona 500. He'll have to wait till next year, Mike.
Finished 3rd here in 1995. He's been trying for a decade and a half to win this race. Getting set for the restart, Rusty Wallace won the race off pit road. Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon. Let's see how the rookies, 6 of them in this race, are faring today. Jerry Nadeau, there he is. Jerry Nadeau, number 13 from Danbury, Connecticut, is 22nd. Kenny Irwin, 25th. Steve Park, 29th. Andy Hillenberg, 32nd. Billy Standridge, 39th. And in the garage area, Kevin LePage among the rookies in this race. So Nadeau leading what is expected to be one of the finest Winston Cup rookie crops in many a year.
There are some great drivers with good talent in the rookie chase this year.
Ralph?
Well, there's a problem with the front air dam on Jeff Gordon's car, and that's why he has the big push. It has been dented in. Now, they have changed tires on this car, but there is not a whole lot they can do to compensate for that. Jeff is going to be dealing with a push for the rest of the day.
Aerodynamics are so critical, a component of speed here at Daytona. Green flag. First time a Ford has led today, Rusty Wallace. Earnhardt behind him, and Gordon nestled up against Earnhardt's bumper.
Rusty Wallace is in a bad spot right now. You see all what they're talking about right on that corner right there. It's bent back just a little bit on Jeff Gordon's car. That's what they're talking about being bent in. It don't look like much, but at 200 miles an hour, that's a lot of lift on the front of the car.
And look at the distance Earnhardt has pulled on Gordon in a lap. 3 car lengths. Long pit stops during that caution for Greg Sachs with the hood up. Jeff Burton, Ward Burton, and Dale Jarrett repairing damage to their cars, body damage.
Rusty Wallace is in a spot right now. He has 3 good Chevrolets right on his back bumper, and his teammate is on back in the pack there. You can see that Earnhardt's partner right there, the 31 of Mike Skinner, going with him on the high side there. Jeff Gordon starts 5.
4 wide in the back straightaway once again.
Boy, this could get interesting.
Bump drafting. That's what it's all about right there. When you go down the back straightaway, you bump into them. You see, into the lead they go.
That was not an attempt to bump Earnhardt out of the way. That's his teammate, Mike Skinner, trying to shove him forward.
Absolutely.
They did a great job. Drafting, and that's what you do. It's about 200 RPMs every time you touch him.
Bill Stevens.
Interesting to see that maneuver in the race. Yesterday during happy hour, we watched that same sequence. Skinner coming up on Earnhardt, tapping him on the back. It may have been by design.
3 wide in turn 2, Dick Berggren.
Well, as we watch the leaders, Mike, they're going to have to make one more pit stop before this thing is all done and over with. There's going to be a lot more racing to come before the 500 is settled.
You know how a pack of wild animals can take advantage of one that's wounded. That's what they've done to Jeff Gordon. They've moved him back in the pack.
That's all they have to do is just think he's wounded a little bit. They're really on him now.
Gordon inside Jeremy Mayfield, number 12, and up against Jimmy Spencer, the man they called Mr. Excitement in the modified ranks in the Northeast, number 23.
Keep your eye on that green car. Bobby Labonte been fast all day, high-siding around a lot of this traffic right now and moving up towards the front.
Kenny Schrader's back up there in 5th place. 2 of the 5 drivers that have the chance for the $1 million bonus, Ernie Irvin and Kenny Schrader, are up in the top 5. Irvin 36, Schrader 33. There's Schrader up on the outside.
Bobby Labonte in the 18 car, the other green car, following along as Gordon moves back up down on the inside.
Well, he's got Jimmy Spencer just in front of him. He seems to be able to draft if he can stay in a tight draft, but if he goes out by himself, he's in trouble.
Jeff Gordon right up against the back bumper of Labonte as they follow Ernie Irvin, former winner of the 500, down to turn 1.
See Kenny Schrader there in the 33, moving 3 wide as they head into turn 1 there.
Ken Schrader started that backup car at the tail end of the field, qualified 31st, driving with a cracked sternum from a hard crash into the turn 1 wall in Thursday's qualifying race. A Schrader said, "No bones are going to keep me from a shot at $2 million total to win today."
Boy, I understand that. That's a career for a lot of people. He's going for it all right now. Giving our camera a little work over there. You can see how much air pressure is off those cars. It actually moves the camera then.
2 by 2 behind the 3 leaders. Into turn 1 at 190 miles an hour. Driving up on a banking that's probably steeper than the roof on your house.
Richard Childress' car is 1st and 2nd right now. That's a hard thing to overcome when you have a teammate up under you like that. Somebody has to really get with somebody and change the groove to get by them. You won't see these guys make a mistake and give that up.
Bill Stevens?
Just spoke to Andy Petrie, the crew chief for Kenny Schrader. Asked him, how's Kenny feeling in the car? He says the flak jacket was a stroke of genius, helping to dampen some of the vibrations that would come up and ordinarily cause him some discomfort. He said, he's feeling great. I said, does $1 million have to do something with it? He said, yep.
Schrader has Morgan Shepherd standing by in relief. Shepherd, rideless for the Daytona 500, hopes to put something together for the rest of the season.
Just a second ago, Rusty Wallace was giving everybody chase around the racetrack. He's staying on the bottom side of the racetrack, and the groove moved up just a little bit. He's dropping back as we speak.
65 laps to go. Ken Squire.
Heroics are such a part of the Daytona 500, and they always have been, but this ride by Schrader should not be discounted. Imagine fracturing your sternum 3 days ago in a 185-mile-an-hour crash. He qualified 31st. He had to go to his 2nd car, started 43rd. He's driven this thing right up into the top 5 once again. This is truly a heroic performance, and that car rides like a buckboard. The way they have these Chevrolets designed to run this track this year, you feel every bump. You feel every crevice on the track. He was telling me he was going to get a new dentist because he had so many fillings he'd have to replace after 500 miles. Imagine how he must feel right now. But there's no pain for Schrader. It's like Earnhardt coming back after that terrible crash at Talladega and sitting on the pole at Sears Point, California. These people are special.
Gotta wonder what $2 million feels like.
Well, you can ask Ernie Irvin. He's one of them that's trying right now, and he's moving up beside the team car of Dale Earnhardt. Mike Skinner, you can see he has a good draft on the bottom side of the racetrack. He's going to take it away from Skinner, and this is a whole new ball game.
Ernie Irvin told me last night, no one driver could win this race by himself. You had to have help and the draft. We'll be right back to Daytona after this.
In our quest for the finest brakes in the world, we tested our pads against other leading brands. With pad after pad, in test after test. The results were always the same. No other brand stopped shorter than Performance Friction Carbon Metallic, the ones we stock at AutoZone.
In February 1998, First Plus introduced another one of their innovative products. And at over 200 miles an hour, it's way ahead of the rest. The Bill Elliott Dan Marino Motorsports Team, brought to you by First Plus Financial. Watch for it. It's the one in front.
This is joy. This is frustration. This is pride. This is humility. This is a sport that's about more than just winning or losing. In fact, it's a sport that's not so much about cars as it is about people. This is racing. This is NASCAR.
It's Sunday. A time to bring those who are far away close, and those who are close, closer still. That's why MCI presents 5 Cent Sundays. 5 cents a minute, every Sunday. And now you can also use your MCI card to phone home on Sundays for 5 cents a minute. To enroll, call 1-800-SUNDAYS.
Mike Skinner had vaulted to the lead. Ken Schrader came up with him. Dale Earnhardt dropped to the low groove behind Skinner, and as they went into turn number 3, Earnhardt went under his teammate. Schrader went up high around him. Skinner got kicked back to third. Earnhardt's back in the lead. Schrader's second.
You know what that's called? One winner for the Daytona 500. You have to go when you have the chance.
That's Ernie Irvan down on the inside, trying to get something going. Rusty Wallace working with him.
After that caution, the cars are all bunched up together, and that's where they're still running. Some of these cars are a lap down. There are still 17, 18 cars on the lead lap.
Earnhardt and Schrader, how many times have they run side by side together?
I hate to say this, but when you get them bunched up like this, anything can happen.
Earnhardt to the inside, wants the lead back. And here comes Ernie Irvan with him.
Ernie Irvan. That's a brand new ride for him, but it is working like Ernie Irvan's cars always do. Has something to do with the driver, I guess.
Of the first 9 drivers right now, Irvan is the only one to taste victory in the Daytona 500.
But he and Kenny Schrader are both, as you mentioned earlier, eligible for that $1 million bonus. They're right up there fighting for it.
And that would mean a total payday of $2 million. Counting manufacturers, contingency, television money, and then R.J. Reynolds bonus.
And for the Mark Martin fans, he is back on the racetrack now. They did get his car repaired, but he is many laps down like this.
What happened to that single file draft of lead cars we had a while ago?
Well, all you have to do is look at the laps left in this race. Everybody now, they're pulling the plugs on these things. They know they have to go.
Dick Berggren.
Well, Richard Childress is watching our television broadcast, and he's watching his 2 cars, the 3 and 31, jockey back and forth. What do you make of this, Richard?
Well, you know, he was sitting there and pushing. They had a run. He had to go. I just told him to say, Mike, you know, I was telling him just try to sit there, and they had a run, so he had to go. Got him 5 points. Now he's back there. Hopefully we can just settle in, and hopefully we can have them both there at the end where they can help each other.
Who's supposed to win this thing, the 31 Skinner or the 3 Earnhardt?
Well, you know, a car owner is kind of like 2 kids. Who do you want to give a piece of candy to? But, you know, my heart's got to be with Dale Earnhardt, but we all owe it to Lowe's and everybody with Mike Skinner. If he's got a chance to win, he's got to try to win it.
Well, there's a diplomatic answer for you, Mike.
It certainly is. From the owner of a 2-car team. Half-Lack trivia question. Who has started the most Daytona 500s before winning the great race?
Bud Baker, 18. I was about to say Darrell Waltrip, but Darrell he won it in his 17th year, I believe.
Well, he won it in his 18th start.
And look here, 3 wide out in the
Ned, this is not trivia here. This is the real thing. 3 wide at 200 miles an hour through the tri-oval. And that is a turn there.
It is a turn, and Dick Trickle's in the middle.
They're still 3 wide. You're with John Andretti, the Pepsi 400 winner here in July, a race that will show for the first time ever at night this July 4th here on CBS.
Well, I can't wait to see 43 cars under the lights here at Daytona. I got to see history when Earnhardt made a few laps the other night. It was absolutely beautiful. The car looked like a diamond out there. The people cheered the whole 20 laps that he run.
And they expect a packed house here in Daytona for the first ever Pepsi 400 run at night. And you'll see it live in prime time here on CBS. Earnhardt the leader, Irvin in second, Rusty Wallace in third. 56 laps to go, Ralph.
A tip of the hat to the Fab Shop guys on the number 2 of Rusty Wallace. They worked day after day. They only got 2 days off at the end of the season, Christmas Day and Thanksgiving Day. Crew Chief Rodman Pemberton, he gets 3 weeks off a year. He's only had 5 days off in all of 1997. They built over 7 Taurus chassis leading up to the Daytona 500. And that great body work has gotten Rusty into the thick of this year's Daytona 500.
Now that inside lane is moving forward, Ralph, and the reason is Mark Martin, the lapped car up ahead. Earnhardt could sniff out a draft off that white and blue machine of Martin.
I'm watching all these guys right now. Outside line's fast 1 lap, inside lane is fast 1 time. The biggest thing right now, you don't only have Earnhardt with a lot of help, other people are getting great tows around the racetrack.
Back down to turn 1, 146 laps complete. Bill?
I just spoke to Ryan Pemberton, the crew chief for Ernie Irvin. I said, are you starting to make some deals on who's going to run with you for the finish? He says, no, it's happening too fast.
135 miles to go. Dale Earnhardt. Jimmy Spencer on the inside of Mike Skinner. Number 23, Spencer. Number 9, Lake Speed. Number 90, Dick Trickle. And Mark Martin 1 lap down, trying to stay away and out of the way of the contenders to win this race.
That's exactly what he's doing. A true champion-type driver does never create a problem as close to the end of the most important race these guys run.
Still got over 50 laps. Over
3 wide.
Over 50 to go.
Down there at the start-finish line. That's Dale Earnhardt's team communicating with their driver. 53 laps to run. From this point in the race on, Dale Earnhardt's led this lap, lap 148, and every other lap in the rest of this race, 1 year or another, except lap 200. That's Larry McReynolds in the upper right.
Well, Earnhardt's running super well, but just behind him is a young guy on the move right now, Jeremy Mayfield.
Single file. The lead pack comes down to the start-finish line. Earnhardt Irvin, right behind. There's Ernie Irvin's Pontiac. He moved out of Robert Yates Ford at the end of last season. That's now driven by rookie Kenny Irwin Jr. Jeremy Mayfield is third. Rusty Wallace fourth. Teammates: Ken Schrader fifth. Jeff Gordon in sixth. Mike Skinner, Jimmy Spencer, Bobby Labonte, John Andretti, the top 10. We'll be right back.
Racing is hard on cars. Always has been. So is everyday city driving. Jiffy Lube makes it easy to take care of your car, and they offer Pennzoil. Just drive in, drive out, drive on.
We're more than just another change of name, but Jiffy Lube. Drive in, drive out, drive on. Coffee inside, can't explain. It's a certain kind, can't explain. I feel hot and cold, can't explain. Hey, down my soul, yeah, can't explain.
competition won't be able to explain when the only four-door rookie in NASCAR starts blowing their doors off. Maybe they should get more doors. Ford Taurus.
Insuring over 40 million people worldwide.
49 laps to go in the Daytona 500. Dale Earnhardt's been coming here for 20 years trying to win this race. Ken Schrader for almost that long. That's Schrader in number 33. Thursday, in the 125-mile qualifying race, Schrader got bumped from behind by the yellow car of David Green. Turned to the apron and then whammed into the turn one wall, taking Johnny Benson with him. Schrader's impact speed, about 180 miles per hour. The force jolted him forward in the shoulder harnesses, cracked his sternum. He's wearing a flak jacket today, but he said nothing would keep him from a shot at $2 million if he could get in that car, and he has. Coming up next, men's ice hockey and figure skating from the Olympic Winter Games in Nagano, Japan.
Feeling Schrader's going backwards. He's starting to push in the center part of the corner. Gordon's coming forwards. Yeah.
Jeff Gordon is on the inside of Kenny Schrader's 33. And Schrader may drop to the tail of his lead draft as Mike Skinner goes past as well. Dale Earnhardt leading Ernie Irvan. 48 laps to go. One pit stop will remain. These cars get about 5 miles per gallon and hold 22 gallons of fuel.
Mike, I think Jeff Gordon may have changed his driving style just a little bit. That car seems to be working on the bottom of the racetrack again. He was pushing out a little bit, getting into turn one not too long ago. Looks to be working quite well. He's moving back up on the lead cars now.
These are the two leaders. You're just perched on the back bumper of Dale Earnhardt Chevrolet, looking back there at Ernie Irvan. Jeremy Mayfield, the youngster from Kentucky. His teammate, Rusty Wallace, and Jeff Gordon.
He was thinking about making a move. Look at Mike Skinner. He's looking on the outside of Jeff Gordon. I don't believe he's going to be able to pull that one off yet.
Single file, the first 7 cars. Right in the middle of that group, Jeremy Mayfield, 5th start in this race. Looking for his first top 5 finish. Still a lot of jostling back in the pack and a lot of drivers that won't give up on their chance to win the 500, but they have to catch this pack to do it.
Ned, it looks like that second group, they look like they're closing in on the leaders just a little bit. Jimmy Spencer's pulling that second group right on up through there. John Andretti's right with him. You can see there's about a 15-car length difference, but they are coming like a storm right now.
Right now, we've run far enough that if I got a caution here the next 5 or 6 laps or something, probably just going and do 4. It's like we've run far enough and got far enough to go. And I about bet Ray. Andy, I don't know.
What McReynolds is saying, they may get 4 tires on this last pit stop. When he says, Andy, I don't know, it means he hasn't talked to Andy Petrie, who owns Ken Schrader's car. Now, not only can we listen in on these teams, but a lot of fans in the stands have scanners. They can listen to all of that team communication. Don't know of any other sport where you can do that. As the event unfolds, find out all the strategy firsthand, but you can do it in NASCAR racing. There's Buddy Baker's record for the race, 177.6, and they're running almost right on that record pace today.
see the tremendous travel in the front of Ernie Irvin's car as he comes through the corner there. That front part of that car is 3.5 inches from the ground. It's dragging going through the corner. That's how much the cars are moving in the middle part of the corner.
The Pontiacs are, because of the rules, are able to run a little bit lower balance than the Fords and the Chevrolets.
Dick Berggren.
Bobby Labonte, currently running 9th, has started this race on the pole, but he has not really contended for much of the day. They've had some chassis problems, but crew chief Jimmy Makar says what they are really doing is kind of hanging around in the back, waiting for the end. He says the car will be strong enough after this next pit stop to contend for the win.
Contending for the win right now, Jeremy Mayfield from Owensboro, Kentucky. That number 12 moves up to second place.
Team cars working together. Jeremy Mayfield's getting a great tow. You see right now, Rusty Wallace, his teammate, right behind him. They just moved up there, went right by Ernie Irvin, took over second and third place.
Those two cars are even painted alike. Only the decals are different. Here's Bobby Labonte trying to bring that group back up through. There's Mayfield, number 12, Wallace, number 2.
And Gordon now has moved up to 4th place.
Mayfield pulling in on Earnhardt, the race leader. 5th appearance in this race. Drove for the Sadler brothers. Drove twice here for Cale Yarborough. Got a top 20 finish out of it. And last year, for this team, Mayfield finished 6th in this race. Continuing the battle further back, Joe Nemechek with the 4 of Bobby Hamilton. New driver for Larry McClure this year, that yellow car. 99, Jeff Burton, accident damage. And number 16, Ted Musgrave, the blue and yellow car, just ahead of his teammate, Mark Martin. And Mike Wallace in that white and yellow 73. 159 laps complete this time by. Dale Earnhardt leads it. CBS Sports coverage will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
Now there's a tire that can survive even this. The Goodyear Eagle F1 Run Flat. Even with no air pressure, Goodyear Run Flat technology lets you drive up to 50 miles at 55 miles per hour to safety, so you won't get stuck with a flat. Serious technology, freedom from worry. Eagle F1 Run Flat.
Serious freedom.
Only from Goodyear.
Goodyear, Goodyear.
Since we switched to Quaker State Motor Oil, we've been very successful. So when my crew chief said, "Check it out, Jeff. 3 new synthetics from Quaker State." Why change a good thing? Different engines can need different protection. Quaker State knows that. Well, we tested them. And guess what? Now we're winning with the same oil you can buy at the store.
Quaker State. The choice is clear.
Four Corners premieres CBS Tuesday, February 24th.
With the Nissan Maxima's powerful V6, Ward's Auto World called it one of the 10 best engines of '98. And with standard features like air conditioning, power locks and windows, and comfortable seating for 5, IntelliChoice called it a best overall value in its class. Take advantage of this limited time offer, and you can call the Maxima the best thing of all, yours. Right now, get the Nissan Maxima with $1,500 cash back and 5.9% APR for up to 60 months. Ends March 2nd.
By day, you're a mild-mannered UPS driver. But by night, you're a speed-hungry bobsledding missile. You're Trevor Christie, and thanks to the UPS Athlete Training Assistance Program, Olympic hopeful. Since 1995, the program has helped UPS athletes with financial support, equipment, and when you needed to train, hours off. Although right now, you'd settle for a few hundredths of a second. UPS, worldwide Olympic partner.
The Winter Games and now the NFL are only on CBS 2.
Tim, if you guys can get to
162 laps complete, 38 to go next time by. Dale Earnhardt leading Jeremy Mayfield and his teammate Rusty Wallace. Larry McReynolds and Ray Evernham. On the left, McReynolds, crew chief for Earnhardt. McReynolds won this race with Davey Allison. Ray Evernham won it last year with Jeff Gordon. Talking race strategy. And mainly when to make the final pit stop.
And what to do on that final pit stop. Do you just put fuel in? Do you take 2 tires? Do you take 4 tires?
I wouldn't be surprised to see a splash and go this close to the end.
For somebody, or maybe all of them.
Jeff Burton has come back to pit road. Word from the scanner is they may have lost an engine on Burton's number 99. A lot of smoke from under the hood.
And also being pushed back towards the garage is the car number 1 of rookie driver Steve Park. He's going to be out of it.
I better explain what a splash and go is. That's about 2 gallons of fuel and just going right back on the racetrack as fast as you can.
Ralph?
Well, Larry McReynolds told Ray Evernham he would be back in about lap 170, which is just about 7 laps from now, to figure out exactly what they're going to do. We have also seen members of Kenny Schrader's team down here as well, Dick Berggren.
Yeah, we've also had Robin Pemberton down here. He is in right now. Earnhardt's pit. Have you guys cut a deal?
There are no deals. We're just discussing some things right now.
How many tires are you going to take when you pit in? When will you pit?
We don't know what we're going to do yet. We're discussing things.
That's coy.
Well, Robin Pemberton is the crew chief for the 3rd place car of Rusty Wallace. That was Kevin Hamlin on the left, Mike Skinner's crew chief, talking with the car that is also owned by Richard Childress and engineered by Larry McReynolds. I think there's as much hard running up and down pit road as there is out on the racetrack right now.
The drama continues to build.
It does that because just behind these lead cars that we're looking at right now, Bobby Labonte, Jimmy Spencer, and a few other cars are moving in on this lead draft. It may be a 15-car shootout once they make their pit stops because they're really catching the lead group.
Rick Mast running here for car owner Butch Mock, and he is presently posted 29th. Mast is 3 laps down. He didn't make the race last year, and he said that took 10 years off his life. He says, I know when I die of natural causes, if it hadn't been for missing that race, I'd have lived another 10 years.
Boy, it is tough to miss the race. There's no doubt about it. He was so proud to be able to get in this race this year. Had to race his way into it on Thursday.
Pole sitter for the first Brickyard 400. Dale Earnhardt has won 30 races at Daytona, counting the International Race of Champions, 7 wins in the Saturday 300 Grand National Race, never on Sunday for the Daytona 500.
I tell you, with the luck that Dale Earnhardt's had here in Daytona for the 500, a creak in the back of that car would sound like a cowbell to him. I guarantee you, he's sitting there wondering, is something else going to happen to me?
Dick Berggren.
Well, subject to change when Larry McReynolds radioed to Dale Earnhardt on lap 165. We're coming in 15 laps. They can go almost all the way to the end. That's 200 laps on the fuel that they've got. But at least right now, the strategy is come in before them.
Last year, Earnhardt in contention to win, flipped over with 11 laps to go. And there's a Ford crew chief and a Chevy crew chief having a conversation.
On the left is Robin Pemberton, crew chief for Rusty Wallace.
Now, neither one of their drivers have won this race in years of trying. 2 years ago, Earnhardt started on the pole, finished a close second. 3 years ago, settled for second. 4 years ago, lost the lead draft. 5 years ago, lost it in the final lap. Crashed 6 years ago. 7 years ago, limped home as the race ended under caution. And I could go on and on through 19 years of trying.
Mike, I was just looking over turn 1, and the black skies are over there. I'm sure these drivers are starting to look at it and say, man, this thing might end before the end of the race because it is getting dark over there. Everybody has to be aware of bad weather.
And if they get a report that there are showers in that area, then that's going to make a difference in these pit stops. They'll go as long as they possibly can. Maybe some of them will go too long.
Even in 1980, when Buddy Baker won this race, Earnhardt was running with Baker in the final laps when the pit crew left one lug nut off during the final stop, and he had to come back to pit road, dropping a lap off the pace. Earnhardt has lost this race every which way you can, and usually in the closing laps. Jeff Gordon, aiming to be the spoiler in Earnhardt's party or Wallace's celebration. The 1997 champion sits in 4th place behind Earnhardt, Jeremy Mayfield, and Rusty Wallace. 31 laps to go next time by.
Mobil 1 synthetic motor oil. From 35 degrees below zero to 475 degrees above. Nothing outperforms Mobil 1.
Let me tell you a little love story. Happened at this wedding. Groom's buddies all sneak out and do the usual number on the groom's car, right? There it was, the most perfect black Ford Mustang known to man. So right when Mr. Shaving Cream's about to pull the trigger...
I can't do it, man. What? Just can't do it.
I mean, it's a Mustang. It'd be like defacing a national monument or something. Ford Mustang, built to last.
Gordon is way behind. Stick a fork in Jeff. He's done. Oh, my. What is he thinking? Holy baloo. What the heck is that? Ooh, that's got to hurt. Well, what could possess a man to drive like that? Oh. Gotcha. He's making his move backward. Gordon wins. We got to get him a cup holder. That's it. Generation next.
This is NASCAR 98. I'm in a groove with new scuffs. Talk fast.
Are fans that loyal to their driver's sponsor?
Nate.
What?
NASCAR 98, the ultimate judge. EA Sports. It's in the game.
When you're out on the road, you're not the only one who depends on good brakes. With our upfront pricing policy at Midas, you only pay for the brake repairs you approve.
Working 172 laps, 430 miles complete. The story is Earnhardt, striving, struggling to finally win this 500. Earlier this week, he told the press, everyone saw the look in John Elway's eyes. Look in mine. He's out in front, but there are 2 Fords deployed directly behind him. And before this is over, you can be sure they're going to be on the attack. Mayfield and Wallace working together. Let's go back to the call and Mike Joy.
Ken, 28 laps to go. 8 times in 19 years, Dale Earnhardt has been in this position at this juncture of the race in the lead. 4 times with
trouble on the backstretch.
1 car, 2 cars go sliding down the back straightaway. John Andretti.
Robert Presley, I believe, was the other car.
And Andretti swerves around as they get down to the grass, and we are under caution.
So that takes all that pit strategy away because they'll be able to make their pit stops under caution.
All that wheeling and dealing. New deal. Chilly day. Hot racing on the track. It's only the 2nd caution of the afternoon, and it comes after 173 laps are completed, beginning lap 174. There are 15 cars on the lead lap, make that 16. Earnhardt, Jeremy Mayfield, Rusty Wallace, Jeff Gordon, and Ernie Irvan. Mike Skinner, Bobby Labonte, Ken Schrader, Jimmy Spencer, and Ricky Craven, the top 10. Then Kyle Petty, Michael Waltrip, Bill Elliott, Terry Labonte, Chad Little, Bobby Hamilton, and Lake Speed. 17 cars on the lead lap when they form up for the restart. But first, pit stops. Here's what happened out of turn 2.
You can see that the 43 car of Andretti came up awfully fast on the 77 car of Robert Presley. They got together and spin down to the inside of the racetrack. Everybody else goes by.
Let's slow it down and look again. Andretti was on the lead lap.
Just got into the left rear corner of Presley, and both of them spin to the inside of the racetrack and out of harm's way.
Inside John Andretti's car for this look.
If you want to see what an arrow push looks like, watch him come up right here.
quickly gets to those gears and gets it on out of there. He has made a pit stop.
Dad, that makes me pretty proud of my Sunday job up here. I'm not in that windshield behind that steering wheel anymore.
Pit road will be the center of action as Dale Earnhardt leads Jeremy Mayfield, Rusty Wallace, Jeff Gordon, and every one of those 17 cars on the lead lap. Dick Berggren.
Earnhardt coming down pit road for what will be his final pit stop if all goes well. The plan, take 2 tires. That's what Rusty Wallace's plan is as well. Let's go to Bill.
Rusty Wallace is in. Robin Pemberton said to his gas guys, get 1 can in and don't worry about it. Let him get out of here. Right side tires only. He's away with Mayfield.
Earnhardt has the quick pit stop. It'll be Earnhardt leading the charge off pit road.
And his teammate, Mike Skinner, gets out second. That could be
I'm reminded of a conversation we had yesterday where to win the Daytona 500, you'd have to have a friend, and Earnhardt has his teammate right behind him.
You got to remember something else. So his teammate wants to win the Daytona 500. 2 teammates. That's 2 teams right there. The first 4 positions. Buddy, this is going to be good.
Get a good hold. 25 laps to go next time by.
Earnhardt made a great pit stop, but you got to hand it to those guys in the 31. They were back in 5th place when they came in. Now they're in 2nd place. They really made a great pit stop.
Now, even leaving the pits, they're subject to that 65-mile-an-hour speed limit. So it's who gets their job done first and who gets up, out, and into the lane. Bill?
Robin Pemberton very unhappy with that pit stop. I asked him, not enough fuel in the car? He said, no, too much. He thinks they took too much time. They wanted to get out before Earnhardt.
They came out in 4th place.
Well, and that track position is so important.
You know, they actually time how long it takes to dump a gallon of fuel in these cars, so he knows when it's too long.
Dark clouds on the western horizon. The Daytona 500 has 25 laps left to run.
Making friends is our business was a motto that my grandfather created back in the 1950s when he came up with the slogan. Beer is about friendship, about relationships. It's about making friends, going out, meeting new people, and there's not a better beverage to do it with than a Budweiser. There are 500 million beer drinkers in the world, 80 million beer drinkers in the United States, and they must know something.
How do NASCAR drivers relax after the race? They do a little fishing.
Good fishing hole. Great fishing hole. You bet. I wonder why nobody else is here.
Uh-oh. Fortunately, most drivers start with Excite NASCAR Select, the official battery of NASCAR, engineered to start high-compression engines that demand nearly twice the starting power of your car.
Hey, who took all the fish? He did. Whoa!
Excite NASCAR Select, because winter can be a real bear. Available at these stores.
We made up our mind. We are quitting. So far, so good. Nicoderm CQ.
Doing fine with no help. Want to cheat?
No.
Oh, come on, just one.
No.
I'd hate how calm you are.
Hey, this is tough for me too, but I got help.
Nicoderm CQ gives the highest level of medicine, a 24-hour stream that's still with you when you wake up.
It helps calm the cravings. You'll see.
Nicoderm CQ, the power to calm, the power to comfort, the power to help you quit.
Michael came onto the scene in Indy cars as a winner. I'm very proud of the fact that he's carrying on the Andretti name. I'll never forget the first really competitive pass that he did on me. We banged wheels a little bit, and he was gone. Adios, Dada.
The Andrettis rely on the same Haviland Formula 3 motor oil you can buy right off the shelf.
That's my boy.
And for your cooling system, get Haviland Extended Life Antifreeze.
This CBS Sports Race Summary is sponsored by Texaco, a world of energy.
As we get down to the last 25 laps at 174, 435 miles complete, 8 different leaders. Lead changes 13 times. The average speed just under Baker's record from 1980 at 176.1. A couple of cautions out here, and the cars and drivers that now are saying what should have been include Kevin LePage, Ricky Rudd, Steve Park, the rookie, and now Jeff Burton. field is getting set on a restart, and let's rejoin Mike Joy.
Don Hawk with Dale Earnhardt.
Saying a
One
prayer.
lap to race. Earnhardt's pit stop. A key pit stop to maintaining that lead track position. Watch that black car in the middle of the screen jump out ahead of those two white Fords. And Mike Skinner, the blue and yellow car, right with him. Let's give a call to Kevin Hamlin and that Mike Skinner crew. Michael Lingerfeld, Ron Otto, Kevin Gabbard, Taco Landon, Brian Engelhart, Trip Bruce. They got Mike Skinner way up the leaderboard into second place.
He was fifth when he came in, came out in second place. One loser on this pit stop, Mike, was Ernie Irvin, who was running in fifth place. He is now back in the 11th position, and Michael Waltrip, also a big loser. He got out of the pits good in the 6th place, but he had to come back in because he ran over an air hose. Now he is 18th. There are 18 cars on the lead lap.
And Ed, we need to add to the list we gave earlier, John Andretti and Michael Waltrip. They are on the lead lap. That makes 18 cars. Dale Earnhardt in front. 24 laps to go. Buddy, how do you win this race if you're not in Dale Earnhardt's position?
Well, the first thing you have to do, as you can tell, they're teaming up right now. There's a lot of these guys that know that they have to draft right now. You wait till about 5 laps to go, really make a run. But hey, if that door opens up right now, those team cars will go right by Earnhardt and try to put him back there and worry about him getting back to the front.
Both those two lead Chevys using the new General Motors SB2 small block engine, and Ned, two Ford Tauruses right behind them, answering a question we had at the top of the day. The Tauruses can run.
Yes, they can. They certainly can run in the draft. They haven't led that much today, but they certainly can run in the draft. And if two of them get hooked up together against those two Chevrolets, it's going to be interesting. However, I think it's going to be very hard to pass Dale Earnhardt and to Mike Skinner.
Ken Squire.
Dale Earnhardt has said this week, it's a game of chance in terms of who's working with you and how you get where you want to be. He's where he wants to be now for sure, with teammate Mike Skinner right behind, going under green.
Right behind, Skinner is shoving Earnhardt toward turn 1.
Almost got his car loose, Mike. He was so much up under him and actually pushed him.
Lead lap cars in the outside lane. Cars 1 or more laps down, including number 40 Marlin down on the inside.
Rusty Wallace got a terrible start there. He's not up to his teammate where he should be, but Jeff Gordon's right on his back bumper. They ought to be able to pull up. That's a lap car there, the 40 car that you can see of Sterling Marlin and pull right up into the draft there.
23-lap gang fight, and Jeremy Mayfield's gang has not yet shown up. He's the only Ford in the front of that pack.
He's had a good car all day. He has drafted well, has driven it well. Now Rusty Wallace is back there with him.
2 Chevys and 2 Fords and 3 abreast behind them. Jimmy Spencer in the middle.
Don't count out that green car there. Bobby Labonte right now. He's one of the guys that can make $2 million if he wins today.
And here's a challenge going down into turn 1. The Fords move on the inside of Skinner. They take away Earnhardt's drafting partner.
Mike Skinner kicked up high, clotheslined out of the draft by himself. Here they come underneath him.
You see Bobby Labonte there on the inside. You can see that Skinner's fighting back on the outside. Bobby right by himself. That's not a good place to be.
He's behind us. Yep. Did he get to third? Did he get to third? Where'd he get to?
Sounded like Ray Evernham talking to Jeff Gordon.
He got to 4th is where he got to. And Bobby Labonte is still running side by side with Mike Skinner back there. That's not good.
Well, the first 4 broke away just a little bit.
Still got 22 laps. Remember that air dam.
That is Ray Evernham telling Jeff Gordon that air dam is bent up. Stay in line as long as you possibly can and take advantage of the draft off the car ahead of you. Jerry Nadeau, number 13, in the middle of the pack. He's the highest rookie in the race right now. 1 lap down in 22nd spot. Great debut for the road racer from Connecticut. Mark Martin's wounded car way down to the inside.
Getting out of the way. He knows he's laps down. He's just letting these guys go after it.
Buddy, how tense is it to be this late in a race in the middle of a pack like this?
Well, you see Bobby Labonte in the green car there. He has Jimmy Spencer and all. The tension is unbelievable because you're doing everything you possibly can, inside, outside, trying to get somebody to go with you. Coming up on Mike Skinner, he's trying to make a move there. You see him go inside, got cut off, went right back to the outside. They're not waiting anymore. They're making their moves.
Out of turn 2, Earnhardt leads 2 Fords and a Chevrolet. Jeff Gordon, the defending champion, in 4th. 7 times at this point in the race. With 20 laps to go, Earnhardt has been the leader. He still has yet to find the key to the gate that opens to victory lane in the Daytona 500. And it's been 59 Winston Cup races since Earnhardt has had a victory on NASCAR's senior circuit. 3 abreast further back. Rookie Kenny Irwin in between Jeff Bodine and Ricky Craven. Ned, those 2 Fords are linked up behind Dale Earnhardt. Now, each time they've gone to turn 1, there's Rusty Wallace. He's darted inside, he's darted outside. But even with Jeremy Mayfield right behind him, he cannot yet get alongside Earnhardt.
So far, maybe it's a little bit earlier than they would like to make those moves. They sort of test them out, but they also got to look in their rearview mirror right behind Rusty Wallace is Jeff Gordon, and they know that he's going to stay a player in this thing. Bobby Labonte has caught back up to them as well. As Buddy said, he has a fast Pontiac, so it's going to be one kind of a shootout here.
And just behind the green car there, that red and white car, that's Jimmy Spencer, a past winner here. He'll let it all hang out, too, when time comes.
In preseason testing, when the Fords came down here to run, Buddy Baker came down here as a consultant with Jeremy Mayfield and with Rusty Wallace. You went out and ran with Rusty, pointed out a couple of things he might try. Want to share one with us?
Let's watch this race. I tell you what, they do a great job. Rusty knows how to drive. I was just down here, but it helps me a lot in the booth. At least I do know what these cars are doing right now. You can see Jeremy, look on the inside. His teammate just about put a move on him there. If he makes the wrong move, Rusty's going to go because he wants to win the Daytona 500 as much as Jeremy Mayfield does. Earnhardt looking in the mirror going, what do I do if they come on the outside, inside?
Not since Jerry Cook has there been a mirror driver in this business of the caliber of Earnhardt.
That's right, and he knows that. I mean, all he can do. Here's Gordon making a move. Bobby Labonte coming with them.
Contact there between Gordon and the 2 cars of Rusty Wallace.
And now Bobby Labonte gets a run up on the outside of Jeff Gordon, so he'll go around him. He was going to go with him.
And that split up that lead draft.
Here's Michael Waltrip down at 21 coming back. We said that he dropped all the way to 18th. He's all the way up to 9th.
And
coming closer.
They go 3 wide trying to gain track position at Gordon's expense. And that leaves these 3 to settle it.
And Dale Earnhardt has to be grinning. Boys, keep them 2 by 2 back here. And it's a 3-car shootout instead of 15 cars going for it on the last lap.
Yeah, but I believe Bobby Labonte's going to be back up there before this thing's over, guys.
He's strong.
Yeah,
You're right,
he's coming.
man.
There he is. He's right back there now.
They're hot. You want it.
16 laps to go.
Started to say there a moment ago, Mike, that Dale Earnhardt, all he can do is just hold that thing wide open, keep it down to the low side of the racetrack where he's run well all day long, and just hope for the best.
40 miles left to race. Dick Berggren.
Larry McReynolds, how nerve-wracking is this?
Well, you know, it's all out of our hands now. You know, I feel like we've got the best driver that's ever been at Daytona leading this pack right now, but you got team cars behind him, and darn, I wish they'd shorten this race today. Obviously, they're not. We just have to see what happens.
Okay, Larry, thanks. Good luck.
Well, we look over there, and that dark cloud doesn't look quite as dark right now down into turn 1 as they still continue to run 3 wide back in the pack.
It's nowhere near as dark as that dark form that looms in front of those 2 white and blue Fords. Dale Earnhardt. But as Richard Childress reminded Larry McReynolds at this point in the race last year when Larry said, is it looking good? Childress just looked at him with a stern face and said, we've been here before.
Yep. Mike is still 15 laps and anything can happen. Look back here, 4 wide down the back straightaway.
All trying to catch these 3.
We'll be lucky if we don't have a wreck before this thing's over with all those cars running that close together back there jockeying for position. Here they are, 3 wide again.
Middle of the pack, the green car, Chad Little. Down low, Ernie Irvin trying to come back up with the leaders. And outside, Ricky Craven in 12th place. You're with Craven, that's Jerry Nadeau just ahead. Bill Elliott down on the inside. Ooh, Chad Little comes up almost into Craven.
That's exactly what Ned was talking about. Rooting and gouging now. They're moving up on each other. Tire marks are the thing of the day right now.
Chad Little gets free of that pack, and way down to the bottom goes Irvin. Irvin scratching and clawing his way back to the front. He's racing for $2 million. 14 laps to go. Can we hold our breath that long?
Can they? If I was driving Earnhardt's car, I would hope these guys were smart enough just to stay behind me until the real time comes. If you made a move right now, you might go from 2nd to 15th, get back there where they're running 3 wide and have no chance to win.
Yeah, now is not the time to make a move up front. Of course, Earnhardt, he's making the moves that he has to make, and that's just a hold of the pedal to the metal, as they say, wide open all the way around this racetrack, and hope that on the last lap or whenever they decide to make their move, that those 2 Fords get side by side back there or side by side with another car, and that'll free him up.
12 to go. Next time by, a lot of checking up in the middle of that huge pack as these 7 cars have gone single file. Earnhardt, Mayfield, Rusty Wallace, Bobby Labonte, Jeff Gordon, Mike Skinner, and Jimmy Spencer.
Yep, we have a group now that really know how to run this racetrack. The back car there, Jimmy Spencer won here on a breathtaking move. Look at this, 3 wide back in the pack.
Kyle Petty down low, John Andretti in the middle, and he squeezes up in front of, I think that was Ted Musgrave.
Oh,
yes, it was.
A little push there, too.
Well, Ted's from Wisconsin, and they run hard with their bumpers up there. Back to the lead. 7 cars in a row. 11 1/2 laps. 27 miles left to run. Dale Earnhardt has won his qualifying race the last umpteen years in a row here. Every one of the 1990s. 9 years he's won the qualifier. But in between last year's qualifying race win and Thursday's win, he's been shut out of victory lane.
You know, Jeremy Mayfield sitting there in 2nd does not have quite as much time on the major speedways as the guy in front of him, the guy behind him. But right now he has a great race car. I hope he knows, though, when you pull out, if you're right up under the car in front of you, you don't have momentum. You need to lag back and let that teammate help you get a run up the back straightaway so you make the move on the car in front of you.
All right, Professor Baker of the Buck Baker Racing School, you taught Jeremy Mayfield during winter testing. Does he have the killer instinct to beat these 2 and win this race?
Let me tell you something. Look at all that bunch right there. Every one of them a winner. You're a track champion before you ever get in the Winston Cup. Every one of these guys are talented race car drivers, and I won't take any credit. He got here on his own.
Dick Berggren?
Richard Childress is watching the television. His driver is ahead, but they're all ganged up behind you. How does Dale Earnhardt prevent these guys from passing him?
That's going to be tough. You know, 2 cars can just go. You know, Mike got shuffled out. I was hoping Mike could sit there with him, but those 2 cars got to run on Mike and just hung him out. And his car's a little loose, too, so he's doing a good job. And, you know, Dale Earnhardt, he's been here many times. He knows what he's got to do.
He does indeed, Mike Joy.
And those 6 cars in the lead pack may be about to become 12.
Just watching Jeff Gordon, he had dropped back and gotten himself back in that group back there. Now he's running the front group back down there. Has some good drafting partners with him.
10 laps to go. The driver leading with 10 laps to go has won 22 times in the 39 runnings of the 500. But 4 times, one of the drivers of the 17 that have not have been Dale Earnhardt. 1989, 1990, 1991, and 93. Earnhardt has been right here with 10 laps to go. Bill?
I'm with Paul Andrews, crew chief for Jeremy Mayfield. Kid's doing a great job, but what happens next?
Well, I don't know. We've got about 8 more times to go around here. We'll find out. You know, the Mobil 1 car's been real good the whole week down here. We feel like we're in pretty good shape. We feel like we've got a real good car. But, you know, there's a whole line of cars right behind us. So one wrong move, we could right in the back. But, you know, we're real excited to be here in the position we're in, and we're going to go for the win here in a little bit.
If Jeremy goes, will Rusty go with him?
Well, of course. That's what teammates are for.
Indeed.
Paul Andrews knows about winning. He won the Winston Cup Championship with the late Alan Kulwicki behind the wheel.
They're still running average laps of almost 188 miles an hour, and they're getting close to that 500-mile mark.
8 laps to go. 20 miles, buddy.
Guys, it hadn't been long. We had 4 cars in a breakaway draft. You have many cars now in contention. You see Rusty pushing up a little bit. Bobby Labonte looking on the inside as they head down the back straightaway.
Labonte has Jeff Gordon with him. Mike Skinner to the inside. Rusty Wallace goes down like Cale Yarborough and Donnie Allison did on the last lap in 79. And here is Bobby Labonte on the outside, the green car.
Jeremy Mayfield fighting back on the inside there. There's Jeff Gordon just up under him as they come down towards the front straightaway. It's a dogfight as these guys, Jimmy Spencer makes contact there.
They're not going to wait for one to go. 7 laps to go. Here comes Mayfield right up against the bumper of Earnhardt again.
Whoa! Right up under, but here comes Gordon now. Where did he come from?
Gordon fighting on the outside. If he gets up under, look at this dogfight off turn 2 as they go down this long back straightaway.
Wallace on the inside. Labonte way up on the outside, and somebody got shot out of the middle like a hot dog flying out of the bun.
Here comes the teammates on the inside trying to drive by. Jeff Gordon going into turn 2. Give it to Mayfield.
They had got separated there for just a moment now as they come off of turn 4. Mayfield is right back there again, sticking his nose of his Ford right up under Dale Earnhardt's Chevrolet.
6 to go, baby. Remember what you told me a year ago. Don't let him get a run on you.
Gordon on the outside, buddy. Can he get there?
We have a situation here. We have 2 groups that are running very well on the high side of the racetrack. I don't think there is such a thing as a great line around the racetrack right now.
Wow. Now the teams and the manufacturers are split up. It's Chevy, Ford, and nobody has a teammate next to them.
Let's see what Earnhardt's doing right now. Right on the white line around the bottom of the racetrack here. That groove you see from the white up there, that's the racetrack. The rest is the flat part of the racetrack. Right out against the wall, you can see him heading into the dog leg here. He'll go right down to the bottom.
5 to go.
He's protecting that low line. Now he'll come back out here.
Ray Evernham tells his driver, Jeff Gordon, 5 laps to go. And look, 16 cars are in contention to win the Daytona 500. Remember 1979, when going into turn 3, Cale Yarborough and Donnie Allison crashed. Richard Petty was in turn 1 at the time and led Darrell Waltrip and A.J. Foyt to the checkered flag. You don't need to be on the front of this train to win, but it sure helps.
Lady, we feel just like you do up here in the broadcasting booth. Not a one of us are sitting down. I just got out of my chair, as a matter of fact.
Off turn 4, where David Pearson and Richard Petty crashed on the last lap of the 500 in 1976. Pearson limping across with the victory.
Everybody's trying to get themselves in position. They know that they're back there in 5th or 6th place. They're not in position to win the Daytona 500. Bobby Labonte is in a bad position there right now, running side by side with another car.
Ernie Irvin has worked his way back into contention right now. He's under Bobby Labonte. That's the group running side by side back there. That's not a good thing with just few laps to go, though.
Going to be 3 laps to go. Down to the inside comes one of those Fords. They're 3 abreast once again.
Wow. Rusty made the pass on Jeff Gordon down the back straightaway. Now the car in front of him's a teammate. If they work together, they could have a chance at Earnhardt near the end here.
And, buddy, he made that pass without the help of another car right on his bumper. That was pretty impressive.
3 laps to go. Any one of these cars could win it. Earnhardt, Mayfield, Wallace, Schrader, Bobby Labonte in prime position. Jimmy Spencer coming up on the inside.
There's Labonte trying to go on the outside of Rusty Wallace off of turn 2. Can he make that pass?
And also, Ned, he split Rusty from his teammate Mayfield. And Jeff Gordon's dropping back.
That looks like a problem on Gordon's car. He's completely out of contention here.
Into turn 3, where Leroy Yarborough beat Charlie Glotzbeck on the last lap in 1969.
Look at Bobby Labonte coming up on the outside by himself. He got a little help from Jimmy Spencer.
Oh, Jimmy Spencer.
Spencer bounces off the wall, keeps on trucking. 2 laps to go.
Big time hit by Spencer, but I told you Bobby Labonte was moving just a little while ago. What a muscle move on the outside. Fastest qualifier here for the 500, showing his muscle now.
Three makes in the 500, Chevy, Pontiac, Ford, that's how they run. But Earnhardt has a benefit. There's a slow car up ahead.
And there's trouble coming off of turn 2. Some cars get strangled. It might be this. Whoever gets back to the start-finish line, they'll get the white and the yellow together.
Lake Speed and John Andretti tangle as the leaders head for turn number 3. Andretti and Spencer got together.
This could be the Daytona 500. Bobby Labonte goes to the outside.
Labonte up high. Earnhardt uses the left car of Rick Bass as a pick. 20 years of trying, 20 years of frustration. Dale Earnhardt will come to the caution flag to win the Daytona 500. Finally, the most anticipated moment in racing. If John Elway can win the Super Bowl, Dale Earnhardt said he could win the Daytona 500. And if he comes around under caution to complete this final lap, the taste of long-awaited victory will be his.
Wow, what a drive by Dale Earnhardt, doing everything he had to do today.
And Bobby Labonte saying, boy, I needed that last lap.
At the top of the show, you saw the steely eyes of Dale Earnhardt. I'll bet they'll be tearful when he pulls into victory lane.
Let me tell you, it'll make the strongest man on earth cry when you win this race. It's special.
Bobby Labonte comes across the line to the caution flag in second. Jeremy Mayfield's Ford third. Kenny Schrader with a shot at that $2 million bonus, as did Bobby Labonte. Checkered flag. Dale Earnhardt finally is a champion of the Daytona 500. Larry McReynolds, for the second time in this great race, will go to victory lane, once with the late Davey Allison and today with Earnhardt.
It's been a long time coming.
The run to the caution flag from turn 3.
He came up on Rick Mass. Rick Mass moved to the inside, and that's all Earnhardt needed, buddy, was just some racetrack up there to run on.
Yeah, you can see Bobby Labonte and Mayfield hitting as they come down towards the tri-oval. Mayfield, not quite.
There's the crew, Larry McReynolds and his team looking at Earnhardt. Big hug from Richard Childress, the car owner.
What
Dick
a
Berkman.
chance to win the 8th championship. Momentum.
Richard Childress, you have tried so hard, so long, you have done it. What is it like to finally win the Daytona 500?
Unbelievable, unbelievable. You know, this team this year, we took all winter, and I can't say enough about Dale Earnhardt, Jim Goodwrench has stood behind it, and most of all, our race fans. Unbelievable.
And there are people in this victory area that are in tears.
They used to boo Dale Earnhardt when he was winning too much. That'll happen if you dominate any sport. But today, when they introduced the Intimidator, the crowd was full of cheers. I think everyone, if their favorite driver couldn't win the Daytona 500, they wanted to see this man drive to victory lane.
They pull up for the check of the spoiler. One of the NASCAR officials crawls underneath the car.
71st career Winston Cup victory for the second-generation driver and 7-time national champion. He said to make a big man cry. Here's Chocolate Myers of Earnhardt's crew.
Well, it don't get any bigger, but I tell you what, I feel about the same way.
Look out on pit road. Every man on every crew has come out to the edge of pit lane to congratulate the man who has dominated everything there is to win in this sport, except this race, until today.
Well, that's great. There was Todd Parrott, Dale Jarrett's crew chief, other members, other team members of other.
Andy Petrie was there. And this will be the longest receiving line in the history of celebrations.
Wow.
Yep, I've never seen that, Mike. Not that many. You know, normally we'll see 2 or 3 or 4 teams come out there, but this is something.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I had about 10 teams come out when I won this one, but look at this. Everybody knows what it means to the man that's done everything to finally get to the Daytona 500.
There's Derek Cope, or rather Ernie Irvin's crew. There's NASCAR officials out there. There's Robert Presley's crew, Ricky Craven's team.
NASCAR officials. He's shaking everybody's hand, too, if you notice.
59 races since he's been to victory lane. 19 Daytona 500s. Twice he led at the white flag and failed to take the checker in first place. But today belongs to the man who grew up at the corner of Coach and Sedan Street in Kannapolis, North Carolina, a mill town north of Charlotte, where he worked underneath that house in a garage on his own race cars and those of his father to become one of NASCAR's two greatest champions. He and Richard Petty, the only two drivers with 7 Winston Cups on their trophy shelf.
Mike, he's a long ways from Victory Circle yet, and the crowd's building.
And Earnhardt, along with Bobby Labonte, Jeremy Mayfield, Rusty Wallace, and again Ken Schrader, will have a shot at that R.J. Reynolds $1 million bonus when they post it next time later this season. Last year at Darlington, South Carolina, some questioned Earnhardt's ability to go 500 miles when he blanked out on the first lap at Darlington, South Carolina, and had to climb from the car and go to the care center.
Watch this circle. He's going to spin out.
There goes the grass.
Yeah. Goodbye.
A smoke show. Like the fellow who drives his Craftsman truck, Ron Hornaday, likes to do when he celebrates a victory. And now, look at that throng. Can he get to victory lane from here?
He's going to have a lot of help from a lot of security people to get there, it looks like.
I want to hear what he has to say.
Don't worry. He's won at this racetrack 30 times. He, better than anyone, knows the way to victory lane. The most anticipated moment in the history of NASCAR racing. Dale Earnhardt rolling into victory lane in the Daytona 500. Awaiting Dale Earnhardt is the man who brought the Daytona 500 to CBS, Ken Squire.
The 20-year quest is over. Gates have just opened for Dale Earnhardt in victory lane at Daytona. Here's his wife, Teresa, coming to speak to him. One for Dale Earnhardt, perhaps one for Neil Bonnet as well. About to ratchet himself out of this beautifully prepared car. He said patience was what it was going to take, and patience is what he gave it. All right, getting on the hat. He's waiting on this. And he's ready to clamber out. Ready to step out of car number 3. The winner of the Daytona 500. Oh, going to have a drink of soda here. It's been a long time before refreshment here. All right, here he comes. Out of his car, and listen to this. Two decades he's waited for this moment, and it's here, and everybody gets a bath. Dale. Yes. What a show.
Yes.
Here with Larry McReynolds and a big hug. And Richard Childress. Dale, how about that ride?
How about it? Man, can you believe it? For one, got an awesome race car, but for two, thank good Lord for a good day. This race car did everything. The good Lord looked after it all day long. Good wrench. This is for all them race fans and all them people have been saying, Dale, this is your year. Dale, this is your year. And boy, a lot of them said it this year. All the way from Mr. France all the way down to Todd Parrott and all the guys on the team. The Daytona 500 is ours. We've won it. We've won it. We've won it.
And everybody took a shot at you at the end.
I don't care who's taking shots at me. I was driving the mirror more than was the front, but you know, I tell you, these great sponsors, these great people that's worked with us and give us everything we need to win with. This is a good race car. Spinney Clinton. Hey, David, congratulations on your baby. And Larry McReynolds, Spinney Clinton, Richard Childers. We got one heck of a race team. We're going to win a championship this year.
One for Dale and one for Teresa, one for Neil Bonnet, two today.
Well, one for a lot of people. T. Wayne Robinson and, you know, old Neil Bonnet, my dad. Everybody that's been in racing has been my friend that taught me so much, that touched my life. There's so many of them, I can't thank them all. My mom, thank you, Mom. I know she's back home. Dale Jr., hope you're not too sore. Carrie and Kelly, I love y'all.
You've touched a lot of people here today, and we'll be back for the trophy presentation in a moment after these messages.
You the man. You a bad man.
Good job.
You next, buddy. Good job, buddy.
Friday! See the new dirt-eating Ford Ranger! Take on the road! Road! See its 4-liter V6! Take no prisoners! See it switch on 4-wheel drive! Drive! Go where others fear to tread! Friday! The new Ford Ranger! Whoa, that was cool!
Yeah, so what are we gonna do tomorrow?
The new redesigned Ford Ranger, the only compact pickup built Ford tough.
In our quest for the finest brakes in the world, we tested our pads against other leading brands. With pad after pad, in test after test, the results were always the same. No other brand stopped shorter than Performance Friction Carbon Metallic, the ones we stock at AutoZone.
It's good to know that in an era of superstars, big corporate sponsorships, and network TV deals, there's an organization that also cares about fairness and sportsmanship, that realizes its fans are the sole reason for its success, and knows it should never go so fast that it can't slow down if there's a good enough reason. This is NASCAR, and this is the way we've done things for 50 years.
Now there's a tire that can survive even this. The Goodyear Eagle F1 Run Flat. Even with no air pressure, Goodyear Run Flat technology lets you drive up to 50 miles at 55 miles per hour to safety, so you won't get stuck with a flat. Serious technology, freedom from worry. Eagle F1 Run Flat.
Serious freedom.
Only from Goodyear.
Goodyear, Goodyear.
We got a great team.
Well, we're back here in Victory Lane. John Graham, president of the Daytona International Speedway, after perhaps the greatest 500 of them all, is about to make the presentation to Dale Earnhardt, symbol of victory in the Great American Race. John?
Ken?
Dale, we get you up here for a second.
Dale, congratulations. Here is a replica of the Harley J. Earl Trophy, symbolic of the champion of the Daytona 500, and we'll inscribe your name on the permanent Harley J. Earl Trophy on display along with your winning car in Daytona, USA year-round. Congratulations. A great day for racing.
Let me have it.
Somebody may get hurt here.
Great day for racing.
I tell you, it's a great day, and I was wondering if I'd ever get my name on that trophy when y'all built that thing, and it's going to be great to have this in my trophy case, but it's for Richard Childers and all the guys. Everybody worked so hard for this. There's too many people in my life I couldn't think of all right now.
Dale, you lose that car for a whole year. It's going to be at Daytona, USA. They'll roll it in tonight.
That's why I took it out in the grass and spun around a little bit. I knew I wasn't going to race there again. I just thought I'd throw a little grass up.
Very well planned. Those pit stops were just immaculate today.
Well, they were. The guys did a great job, and Dale didn't choke it on the pit road, so everything worked great. And I can't say enough for this team. I tell you, we've had so many people that really worked so hard for Jim Goodwrench Service. They have been, supportive all the way through. Here we are in Victory Lane again. I knew we could do it.
And you did it, and you did it in style. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
I'm with Bobby Labonte, who put on a terrific run at the end to finish second, his best ever in the Daytona 500. Where did all that speed come from at the end of the day?
Man, Jimmy Spencer really helped me out a lot all week long, and our cars worked really good together.
And he's he's kind of out there. Got a few guys to work with, but we work good together all week. And brought this Interstate Pontiac. Put me back up there, and from about 7th back to 2nd there with about 3 laps to go. So it was a pretty awesome run for us.
And the little guy is Tyler Labonte. Ralph?
Jeremy Mayfield, a tremendous run for you. Tell me about that last lap.
Man, I'm glad it's over with. Had a really strong car. The Mobil 1 Ford was just outstanding all day. Didn't make any adjustments. The pit stops were great. My teammate, great. I mean, we worked together good all day, and that's shows a class act between both teams. We both ran good together and helped each other, and everybody started shuffling around at the end and really didn't have a chance to make a run on him, but we give our best shot.
Your new teammate, Rusty Wallace, was the first one over to congratulate you. Is this teammate thing really going to work out? What do you say to you?
Man, just thumbs up. Rusty's a great guy. We've become really good friends. We're here to help each other. The 2 and the 12 cars not going to race each other. We're here to help each other, and that showed today. And Rusty, man, what a guy. He's won everything there is to win, and have him in your corner means a lot.
This could be a new powerful force. Jeremy Mayfield and Rusty Wallace in Winston Cup Racing, Ken.
You're done, Jeff. Victory Lane, that's the place to be. That's where Earnhardt is after 20 years of trying here in the Great American Race. We'll be back with more of the story after this.
In racing, the engine is everything.
What? It's the driver.
A driver will never see a finish line without a great engine.
The greatest engine will never see a victory lap without a great driver.
At least they agree on Haviland Formula 3 motor oil, the same oil you can buy right off the shelf. And also try Haviland Extended Life Antifreeze.
The engine's the first thing over the finish line.
Not in Indy cars.
Where does Napa keep over 200,000 different parts? Right up here. Now remember, your belt tension on this is critical. What kind of car is it? Well, I'll sell you all the struts you want, but I wouldn't recommend putting them in without the right tools. I'm sure we have it. Okay, is it a 77 or a 78? Because they changed the carburetor in 78. Actually, that's not a stupid question at all. I know what it used to be. You don't stay at Napa long handing out the wrong answers, and I'm not planning on going anywhere.
Keep America running.
If you've been getting those phone stickers, you may be getting a little confused. So allow me to simplify.
I love stickers.
Okay, but if you're calling anywhere in America or anywhere around the world, most calls from home will cost you less with AT&T One Rate and One Rate International.
So you're saying the sticker...
I'm saying if you use those stickers, you could get a little sticky. You might get stuck paying more with those stickers.
Yeah, I know, I got that. But I love stickers.
Never been more frightened in my life.
In America and around the world, the AT&T One Rate plans.
Let's start with the brewmaster for just a moment. The brewmaster is the chef, and that is the key brewmaster role, to understand the blending of his or her ingredients. Not only he or she tastes the beer every day, there's another person who tastes the beer every day, and that is me. The ability to have hands-on brewmasters working with the finest ingredients gives you Budweiser.
The 500 is concluded, but the racing action is not. CBS Sportsline brings you all the latest news from Daytona with exclusive columns, interviews, driver bios, and more at cbs.sportsline.com. Next, snowboarding and bobsledding from Nagano, the 18th Winter Olympics on CBS. And tonight, 60 Minutes, followed by continuing coverage of the Olympic Winter Games, ice dancing, two-man bobsleds, and men's speed skating. If you were a bumper sticker on the back of Dale Earnhardt's car, here's what you would have seen. Dale Earnhardt came in it today, having never led lap 96, 97, 98 of the Daytona 500, but finally, he has led lap 200, the final lap. What ended the race under caution? Let's have a look here.
There's Jimmy Spencer, number 23. John Andretti comes up quickly on him. Has to look like he just had to lock his brakes and cut to the left. That Lake spins it around. Lake Speed in car number 9 goes around as well.
Looking down the backstretch toward turn 2. And let's join Dick Berggren.
With Kenny Schrader in what has got to be one of the gutsiest runs we've ever seen here in the Daytona 500. Kenny, how are you?
I'm okay. I knew it'd be okay. I wore my Kenny Walsh shirt today.
And ice packs, and what is this yellow thing?
That's a tinge unit. It just shocks you. Ooh, it shocks you bad enough that you forget about what hurts. So we had it on, and we had a Copenhagen Bull Rider vest on, and we had a arthroplastic on, and we were geared up for the crash, and it never happened.
What are you going to be like tomorrow?
I'll be a lot happier.
Well, it's not $1 million, Ken Squire, Mike Joy, but Ken Schrader has done a great job today to finish 5th.
Well, he's eligible for that next $1 million bonus as well by finishing in the top 5. Unofficial finish: Earnhardt, Bobby Labonte, Jeremy Mayfield, Kenny Schrader, Rusty Wallace, Ernie Irvin finishes in 6th. Chad Little, a fine run to 7th. Mike Skinner to 8th. Michael Waltrip 9th. Two-time winner Bill Elliott was 10th. Kyle Petty 11th, and Bobby Hamilton 12th. 13th, Terry Labonte, the outside pole sitter, and Ricky Craven. Jimmy Spencer, Jeff Gordon, Lake Speed, and John Andretti, the lead lap cars. Kenny Irwin, the rookie, a lap down. Ted Musgrave, Jerry Nadeau, the rookie. Sterling Marlin, Mike Wallace, and Brett Bodine. Ward Burton 25th, and Joe Nemechek, Dick Trickle, Steve Grissom, Andy Hillenberg, and Rick Bass in 30th. Jeff Bodine, former winner. Robert Presley, former champion Darrell Waltrip, and Dale Jarrett. Billy Standridge, the rookie, and Dave Marcus, the veteran. Then Derek Cope, Mark Martin, and Greg Sachs, the last man running. In the garage were Jeff Burton, rookie Steve Park, Ricky Rudd, and rookie Kevin LePage.
Take it right now.
CBS Sports coverage of the Daytona 500 will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
Ford Explorer, when no town's big enough for the both of you.
March Madness is on CBS.
Introducing Slick 50 Synchron Synthetic Engine Treatment in a new pour and drive formula. Slick 50 changes the surface of the metal, protecting against the harmful effects of heat and friction. Watch. At 350 degrees, this competitive engine treatment breaks down. But Slick 50 protects vital engine parts, and it flows freely at sub-zero temperatures, too. It's the first engine treatment on the market to offer a 100,000-mile limited warranty. Slick 50 Synchron Synthetics for the life of your car.
It is fast. It is competitive.
It is exciting.
It is Pocono.
See all the stars of NASCAR Winston Cup racing at Pocono twice this year. June 21st, it's the Pocono 500. July 26th, it's the Pennsylvania 500. Both races sold out in 97, so call now. Operators standing by. Call 1-800-RACEWAY. Pocono salutes NASCAR on its 50th anniversary.
For those who go the distance, the start is critical. That's why Exxon Superflow races to protect vital engine parts at the start when significant damage can occur. Superflow has a unique formula offering protection that's fast, protection that lasts.
This is your Olympic station, CBS 2. In celebration of NASCAR's 50th anniversary, CBS Sports coverage of the Daytona 500 is sponsored by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR. Hey, race fans, this Bud's for you. Goodyear, innovators of run-flat technology. And by Texaco, a world of energy.
A huge crowd here at Daytona, numbed, smiling, as this man wins his first Daytona 500. Here's Ralph Shaheen.
Well, Rusty Wallace, this is the best you've run at Daytona, your first top 10 finish here. How much of that is due to your new teammate, Jeremy Mayfield?
I think a lot of it's due to the new thing we put together. We started developing the Taurus a long time ago, meaning about 6 months. And we've been really working hard on that car, but the engine ran great today, and the car handled perfect. And Jeremy and I really were working together perfect all day long. We were in the top 5 all day, top 2, 3 mostly all day long. And it just felt really good to get a good top 5 run out of it. For a while there, I thought that maybe I might be able to win it. We had a really good run going on Dale one time, but man, we might have got to him, but there wasn't no getting around him. He wanted his Daytona 500 win really bad, and he deserved it, and I'm proud of him. But I just can't say enough about our new team. The Cranafis Penske team, the Penske South team, both guys worked great together. The cars were identical. Well, you know, when we came down here, they should have been real close identical, and it worked out good.
Dick Berggren? Ernie Irvin with an incredibly strong day today with the MB2 team. Were you at all surprised at the quality of that race car?
No, I really wasn't. You know, the Skittles Pontiac is a really good car, and they built last year, built this team, and you know, the Pontiacs are an awesome car, and you know, I'm just glad that you know, we got a good run in, and you know, Kim wasn't being able to be here because she had the baby on Monday, and Jordan's probably watching. Hey Jordan, I love you, and I'll be home in a little bit, and we miss Jared.
Kim is the wife, Jordan and Jared are the children. What now? What do you expect for 1998?
I'm just going to keep building on it. Just keep getting good runs in every week, and you know, this is a lot better start than I had last year, and we're just going to keep building on it.
Congratulations on a great run. Mike Joy?
Dick, a number of firsts this season. First win for Dale Earnhardt, and for the first time, a live Winston Cup race under the lights on network television. You'll see the Pepsi 400 here on CBS Saturday night, July 4th.
There we go. Off and running.
Earlier this week, Bill France lit up the Musco lighting around the outside of this speedway, and a man who's been coming here for 20 years came out to take 20 laps. Now, the lighting system's not completed, but they wired this driver to talk to the lighting people and tell them what he saw. Dale Earnhardt, first man under the lights at Daytona.
First time I came to Daytona and seen the racetrack in 1976, I was like, wow, how big this thing is. When I ran under the lights the other night, that's pretty impressive. Piece of history there.
You'll see the Pepsi 400 live in prime time here on CBS Saturday, July 4th. We can't wait. More from Daytona after this.
Now there's a tire that can survive even this. The Goodyear Eagle F1 Run Flat. Even with no air pressure, Goodyear Run Flat technology lets you drive up to 50 miles at 55 miles per hour to safety, so you won't get stuck with a flat. Serious technology, freedom from worry. Eagle F1 Run Flat.
Serious freedom.
Only from Goodyear.
Goodyear, Goodyear.
This is NASCAR. This is you. And this is us. Hot Wheels Pro Racing will get you this close to the action with Hot Wheels Pro Racing Die-Cast, the best of NASCAR in 3 scales. The Legends Series, unsurpassed detail in 64th scale, and Legends to Life with real racing motion and digital sound. If they drive it, we make it. On the track, off the track, in the pits. Investment quality collectibles, because to get them right on this scale, you gotta race them on this one. We're Hot Wheels.
Can't explain, it's a certain kind. Can't explain, I feel hot and cold. Can't explain, head down my soul, yeah. Can't explain.
Our competition won't be able to explain when the only 4-door rookie in NASCAR starts blowing their doors off. Maybe they should get more doors. Ford Taurus.
They are guardian angels on wheels. Knights in shining armor who ride like the wind. And when lives are at stake, they are the cavalry that always comes through. That's why Texaco tests and retests clean System 3 gasoline under extreme emergency conditions. For all our heroes, for all of us, Texaco, a world of energy.
This CBS Sports Race Summary is sponsored by Texaco, a world of energy.
Back with you at Daytona. 200 laps in the books. The 200 that count for the 500. 8 leaders, but the leader they're all going to be talking about is Dale Earnhardt, victorious in this wonderful Daytona 500 today. Take a look at who did not make it to the end of the line. But consider that 43 started, and that's all that fell out. Amazing. Larry Woody, one of the great racing riders, writes for the Tennessean, has said Dale doesn't drive for the dough. He drives for the sheer enjoyment of it. He chases checkers like a beagle chases rabbits. It's just his nature. My, wasn't his nature grand today, as he showed all the patience he needed.
Truth be known, I think he was overcome with emotion in the car, and that's why he slowed down to be able, he didn't want to miss a moment. He wanted to make sure every hand out there he got to touch on the way by, every crew member, every driver, everyone that wanted to be a part of this celebration. I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, the most sincere moment in sports and motorsports that I can remember in my 22 years of coming here was this parade by Earnhardt on his way to victory lane, barely creeping along after coming by the previous lap at 190 miles an hour.
Well, what does he do for an encore? I mean, go out and get the 8th title? Because, you know, last year, even though he wasn't winning, what was he? 5th in points. He had a year that a lot of guys fight their whole lives to get.
Happy that the generations of his family have practiced what he taught us.
The problem with most home equity lenders is no equity means no loan. That's because they only let you borrow up to 80% of the value of your home. But at First Plus, you can borrow up to 125% of the value of your home. So even with no equity, you can still consolidate bills, make home improvements, or even get some extra cash. Just call 1-800-510-PLUS. You'll get an answer before you hang up. First Plus, no equity is no problem. So call 1-800-510-PLUS.
Wrangler jeans. Available in the 2 colors boys prefer most. Black and blue. Wrangler. Real, comfortable jeans.
Wrangler, the perfect jean for your 10-year-old son. And your 10-year-old husband. Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans.
In our quest for the finest brakes in the world, we tested our pads against other leading brands. With pad after pad, in test after test, the results were always the same. No other brand stopped shorter than Performance Friction Carbon Metallic. The ones we stock at AutoZone.
A 59 race drought comes to conclusion here in the greatest race of them all, the Daytona 500. Earnhardt reigns big time. Today, to that final moment, you witnessed a war between the finest 43 at Daytona. After each other with everything they had. They threw blocks, they scraped each other right down to the finish. And then when that checkered flag flew, as Earnhardt drove down pit road, as we told you at the outset, it became a sport of friends. Didn't matter what team you were with, you were part of the Earnhardt team. It's an amazing sport. Let's go to Mike Joy.
Ken, perhaps he doesn't race for the money, but Dale Earnhardt and Richard Childress will take a check to the bank in total of $1,059,000. We had a lot of firsts today. We also had a few seconds. Mr. Baker, your record's intact.
I was wondering there for a little while. I was just glad no one was injured today. Good, safe race. And Dale Earnhardt set history right where he wanted to. He's done it all now.
Second fastest Daytona 500 ever. Buddy Baker has still won the fastest.
And at 46, Dale Earnhardt became the second oldest driver to win the Daytona 500. Bobby Allison holds that distinction. He was 50 when he won it back in 1988.
He may not have started the day as everybody's choice to win, but if your favorite driver couldn't, I'll bet you're glad to see Dale Earnhardt celebrating finally in victory lane. We'll be right back.
Every day the world wakes up eager to run. And that's exactly the way it should be.
Do you see the star in everything you do? Can you see the star everywhere you go? A world so vast.
Texaco, a world of energy.
Last weekend, Beth took her Ford ZX2 out for a little adventure.
You know that van is still following us?
And she found it.
Ooh, let's lose them. Yeah.
Of course, the ZX2 makes a perfect getaway car. As long as you know who you're getting away from. Oh, well. Hey, she would have hated having a chauffeur anyway. Ford Escort ZX2, built to last.
Screaming, pointing, and praying are all acceptable ways for a NASCAR fan to show their support. Now, there's another. Drink accordingly.
When you're out on the road, you're not the only one who depends on good brakes. With our upfront pricing policy at Midas, you only pay for the brake repairs you approve.
In celebration of NASCAR's 50th anniversary, CBS Sports coverage of the Daytona 500 is sponsored by Wrangler, real comfortable jeans. Coca-Cola Classic, always the real thing, always Coca-Cola. And by First Plus Financial. At First Plus, we're working first for you.
Celebration continues here at Daytona. Crowd beginning to get out of that grandstand, all of these grandstands. Biggest crowd ever to see this event. Down here in Victory Lane, they're still coming up with extra prizes for the guy who'd won today, Dale Earnhardt. We have an update from the Olympics coming up for you from the Winter Olympic Games, and we'll go there and then return once again to Daytona and with a story here at this hour.
Well, quite a scene down in Daytona. Welcome to Nagano, everyone, and our continuing coverage of the 18th Olympic Winter Games. I'm Bill McAtee.
And I'm Andrea Joyce. We are coming to you live from the International Broadcast Center in the heart of the city, and this is really the nerve center of our operations. It is 5:46 a.m. We're not sure if it's early or late, but we've got some bonus coverage for you right now.
Absolutely. Ahead tonight in our late night show, we'll have one of the most anticipated confrontations of these games. The United States became hockey's #1 national team 2 years ago at the 1996 World Cup, and it was done at Canada's expense. When the two teams meet tonight, a still embarrassed Canadian squad will be feeling the pressure. Mark Phillips visited the land where hockey reigns.
If you really want to understand the connection between Canada and hockey, you've got to come to a place like this, a frozen pond in a northern Ontario town. It says something about a place when the center of a young boy's life in the dead of winter is a sheet of ice. Canada is not just closely connected with its national game, they occupy the same space, share the same language. They may as well have called the place Hockeyland. It comes with the winter like the snow and ice. It comes with being born like mother's milk. And the image sticks with you no matter how far you've come.
It just never occurred to those of us who grew up, particularly in small-town Canada or rural Canada, that hockey wasn't about the most important thing in life.
Here it's not just a sport, not even, as some say, a religion. It's an identity. We are hockey, hockey are us.
It is Canada. It's not just a game. It's who we are. It's how we see ourselves.
Canada is ice hockey, and then after that, everything comes like second place.
But there's trouble in Hockeyland. When a game is your life, losing is like dying, and Canada's been losing. The first World Cup of Hockey in 1996, a tournament it was Canada's God-given right to win. Gretzky, Messier, Lindros, the heavenly host and a choir of angels, beaten not by the Russians, not by the Swedes, but by the Americans. First they steal our souls, then they steal our game.
I was really disappointed. And, you still feel it.
Sooner or later, there was going to come a point in time where it was going to become tougher to compete with a country of 300 million people.
It hurt. It hurt me personally. It hurt because we're not used to losing in hockey. It was like the end of the world was coming.
It was like the end of the world had come. But then to insult was added injury, scandal. Sheldon Kennedy, then a forward for the Boston Bruins, came forward to accuse his former junior coach of molesting him. Junior hockey in Canada is the anvil where hockey players are forged, not molested by their coaches.
It seemed to Canadians to be a total aberration in all that we believed in, because hockey, of course, was good. Hockey was Canadian. Hockey was sacred. And to find out that there was such a flaw in the system was a terrible, terrible shattering thing for a lot of Canadians.
You want more? Hockey is heading south. Literally. The teams are doing what the geese do when the weather gets cold. Quebec's gone. Winnipeg's gone. And where have they gone? To Colorado. To Phoenix, for crying out loud. They were shown the money, and they took it.
It's the almighty dollar. It's the American dollar, Yankee dollar doing it.
There's little bits inside you that start to deteriorate when you see Canadian teams moving south.
Not only has hockey been on the skids here, it's a metaphor for the whole country. The economy's in the doldrums, unemployment's up, the Canadian dollar's down. But now all of that rot is supposed to stop. In Nagano, redemption is at hand. For 46 years, they've been saying in places like Toronto that Olympic hockey was bogus because Canada couldn't put its best up against the world's best. This time, it can. Canada doesn't just want to win Olympic gold, it has to win it, or the whole country will have a nervous breakdown. It's all the fans are talking about.
I think the Canadian game has gone right down the tubes.
What's it going to mean to us to go to the Olympics and come out only second or third?
We have to win the gold medal. There's no question about it. We can silver. Silver is nothing. You might as well forget. Don't give us the silver. Don't give us the bronze. Don't give us anything. If we don't win the gold, then it's nothing.
All or nothing. In a country divided by distance and language, it's about the only thing everybody can agree on.
There will be French-speaking players on that team and English-speaking players on that team, and if they win, they'll be hugging each other and dancing around, and that doesn't happen in everyday life in this country.
It's all the media are writing about.
I think if Canada does win the gold medal, it will go some distance to justifying Canadians' belief in themselves.
Being an insecure nation, we have to win to show others who we are. So that it's both. It's both Canada against the world and Canada against itself.
On our crest of our sweater, every little bit of sewing is representing so many people across our country, and we want to do our best, not only for ourselves but obviously for them. We want to win.
It's a simple little game, really. You take that little rubber disc, you put it in the net. You do it more often than the other guy. And if you don't do it this time, then up here in the great white north, life just won't be worth living.
And this reminder, you can see USA-Canada, the border battle, live tonight in late night at 11:35 Eastern Time. And the Canadians, Andrea, do seem to be a team on a mission.
Talk about pressure. Team Canada General Manager Bobby Clarke made a concerted effort, a while back to really change the makeup of this team, to change the 1996 World Cup team. He went with younger guys. You don't see guys on that team like Messier and Coffey now. This is really Eric Lindros's team. He's accepted the mantle, accepted the responsibility. He's got a couple of goals and an assist. It seems like he's ready to take over.
I know you and I both went over and watched them play. There is something absolutely magical about watching Wayne Gretzky in a Canadian Olympic hockey uniform skating down the ice, even though he's really not been a factor.
Well, in this arena, if you've watched, you've seen Big Hat is so intimate, and you're right there. Wayne Gretzky's like 5 feet away. I mean, it is. You can't beat it. It's really terrific. Finally, this reminder, later in prime time, we will have figure skating, the ice dance competition. Here's a little preview, some sights and sounds. This is Act 2, the original dance portion of what is a 3-act competition.